Me too. This is fun.
You were one of the original guests that we have on a list that we come up with stuff.
That's awesome, man.
Purely because we just figured you have good bar stories.
Oh, man.
I think you would have an excellent, just enough to fill 2 hours worth of fun.
Oh, man, probably.
Yeah, see, I figured. To have you come back on multiple times.
Oh, man.
Yeah, that was kind of the original plan, to have some regulars come back and forth throughout the year.
Yeah, that's what we were talking about outside, too.
Well,
Yep.
Yeah.
Sorry about the chair, man.
Oh, no, this is good. I'm trying to get the mic somewhere where I can kind of get into it.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Professional.
Yeah. Well, we found with these guys to not get right on it because it catches your breath in your nose and everything. So kind of to the side is a little better with these guys. That one you got to kind of be right on it, but
yeah.
Exactly. Got to eat it. Got to take it.
It's whole mouth.
So I feel a little weird because it's been like a week since we've done this. We were knocking them out like one after another and kind of got into a groove, and now I feel kind of weird about it.
A week? I feel like it's been maybe 2.
It feels like a long time.
Yeah.
It seems like you guys are traveling there too. Just keeping up with you guys on social media and everything.
Yeah, that was the last time we did it. Was Slayton.
Yeah. So I think Blue Sphere was the last one on the 27th of May.
Right.
And then on the
that was 2 weeks ago.
On the 4th was Slayton, which we did in Gatlinburg.
Mm-hmm.
So this is the first one post that. So about 2 weeks. It's been since we've been in the studio.
Close to it.
Well, knock the rust off.
Right?
That's what I'm saying. Now
Absolutely.
We didn't get the temperature turned down at times, so now I'm burning up.
Really? Dude, I think it feels great.
It's not bad.
Yeah.
I mean, it's better than being outside.
Ew, oh, boy.
Especially now that it's rained a little bit.
Like the moment it almost
nice and
rains,
sticky.
the humidity jumps up and it's just like a smothering heat.
Yeah.
It's awful.
It's like wearing a Ziploc baggie, you know? You're just like, oh.
Yeah. Interesting way to put it.
Yeah. I just always feel like I'm swimming, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
We got the camera going from here, Chris, so if you want that right in front of your face, that's fine.
I don't think anybody wants to see me that close.
No?
I don't think it matters, man. In my opinion. Because you can see him here. Look, all of the fine features are in frame.
I'm beaming over here.
Yeah.
And where'd you come in from?
From West Ashley.
So you live in West Ashley?
Yeah, I live in West Ashley. Yeah, I grew up in West Ashley, too. Yeah, my mom, lived on that side of town. So it's always been home.
Well, we appreciate you driving this far.
Yeah, no problem.
A little bit of a trek and traffic to deal with coming this direction this time of day.
Not if you leave early and go have a beer.
That's true.
Yeah.
We did. We had a beer. Homegrown Brew House.
Had to go see Caleb.
Every episode.
Mm-hmm.
It's an annual plug.
They were supposed to drink right there, too. So there's a social for us.
I'll drink some water.
Yeah, perfect.
Oh, man. I kind of like the segue to beer, but
We could segue to beer.
I think so.
Think it's time to open a beer already?
Do you say that
first,
almost every time? I mean,
we have, we're right into it. But we got, who do we have here today? Chris.
Mm-hmm.
Filan?
Try it. Wait.
Filan.
What are you going with?
Filan.
It's Filan.
Damn it. No!
I wasn't quite sure. Neither one of us were. Nobody was.
I was going to say Filan.
Yeah. I'll mess it up later on. I guarantee it. But
I guarantee
Chris
that
Filan.
too.
So, and we don't even know what Chris does. We kind of do. I mean, you're just like a bartender aficionado.
Kind of,
guy.
Yeah, I was a gun for hire for years, just hopping around and, helping a bunch of people get places up and running and, stuff like that. I helped with the Oak Road guys when they first opened.
I think that's where I first met you.
Same.
It might have been homegrown, either Oak Road or homegrown.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, those guys coming from, the military and their, with Brian being a nurse with their background, they didn't really have a whole lot of the food and beverage aspect. So I got in there and, showed them the ropes and how to, introduce the beers and things like that. So
it's awesome.
Yeah.
And now you're about to get a self-promotion.
Don't get ahead of ourselves.
You're right. I guess.
We got a lot of
everything in due time.
Yeah, come on.
Yeah.
So that kind of gets us started. But first,
jeez.
You brought a couple beers with you, and we appreciate it.
Yeah.
That's always the best part of the show is people bringing us beer.
Oh, yeah.
And we got one to share as well. But
which I don't
what do you want to start
know.
with?
I don't know. You guys want to go?
Yes. I was thinking the pale and then to the...
Well, the pale's a sour.
Oh, it's sour.
Yeah, do you want to do...
Sour.
Yeah.
So either way, we're going...
Do you want to start with something a little crisp and refreshing, or you want to go straight into... Well, the sour's pretty crisp and refreshing, too.
But I know where you're going. Let's start with Farmhouse.
You got it.
Okay.
Cool.
So, let me figure out where it is here.
Yep.
Ooh. I like that label.
All right, so we have a Saison Dupont from, I don't know how you say that, brewery, Brasserie?
Yeah, Brasserie.
Brasserie, Dupont. It's a Saison farmhouse ale. 6.5% ABV, 30 IBUs, 3.75 rating on Untapped, which is what we normally go by. Saison Dupont is a world classic beer and the yardstick for one of Belgium's most important beer styles. It is the most admired and Saisons in the world. A strong, vital yeast is key to a full attenuation and thus to the style. Saison Dupont is straw-colored with a dense, creamy head. The nose is alive, like fresh raised bread, estery with citrus and spice notes. Full-bodied and malty, it sparks on the palate, and finishes with a zesty hop and citrus attack. Incredibly compatible with food, which we do not have.
I totally stopped listening like halfway through that.
Yeah, we always complained at the beginning of this podcast of us starting this thing that there wasn't enough descriptions in Untapped, and now I'm getting kind of tired of these long descriptions. So we need a good balance.
First world problem.
You're right in the middle somewhere. This one does not have a double cage on it. Did you see that during Caleb's episode where it had like a double cage on the bottom? We had to like cut it off.
Really?
Yeah, it wouldn't open up forever. I tried it. Caleb tried it.
Boop. Boop. Oh!
There we go.
There,
Oh, it's all coming out.
Oh, watch out for your phone!
Yeah,
Dude, look
We're
at
already
that.
breaking things.
that's the best.
Getting wild in here tonight.
That was crazy.
Oh,
That's
thank
the
you.
first time we've had a pot and an explosion.
I mean, not the first time.
With the beer.
Maybe on camera at least. Or
So-
maybe not.
I realized that I was going to need to bring some beers to share with you guys, but I also didn't realize that, I've kind of gotten out of the beer trading scene, so I've really depleted my cellar. And then I started thinking about, oh, there you go. Thank you. Then I started thinking about, man, why don't we just do some old school beers that, are pretty much classic examples to what a lot of American craft brewers are copying nowadays. And this one was when I was thinking about it earlier, and I ran over to Total Wine this afternoon and grabbed these. It wasn't like I had to do any hunting for these bad boys. It's just
So much in here.
yeah, it's $7.50. So these little 12-ounce glasses, it'll eat it up.
Yeah, there we go. Now we got.
Yeah, so Saison Dupont. This is super duper old school. This is what I think of. This is in my mind the Keystone Saison. This is what most American Saison, brewers or brewers that are trying to make a great Saison. This is the beer that they're not necessarily trying to copy.
Ooh.
But this is what you were saying. This is what intimidates them.
Yeah.
You want to cheers it?
Yeah, well, cheers.
Yeah.
All right, well, let me get this ready. Everything must be documented so I can lose it later.
So we're going to cheers
Cheers.
to
Cheers.
intimidation.
Cheers to intimidation. Yeah, great hay nose on this
Ooh.
beer.
Yeah, that smells wonderful.
Mm-hmm. You get a little bit of almost like a peach underneath it.
That's what he said.
What did Caleb say that one episode? Horse blanket?
Mm-hmm.
I don't even know what a horse blanket smells like, or what I would even think it would.
I mean, that's horse blanket is something you'll get a lot when you hear about like those barnyardy type, super duper funky hay type of things. It's actually called capybarylic acid, and it gives it almost. It's funny. One of the beer books, I think it actually might be Tasting Beer, which is pretty much the study guide, the syllabus, so to speak, for the Cicerone.
Right.
For the certified test, which highly recommend you read that book. It's fantastic. Tasting Beer. Randy Mosher is the guy's name. Get on Amazon. You can get a used copy for I found a used copy with Prime, and it was like $8.
Ooh.
But fantastic book. Highly recommend it. Definitely to all your listeners.
Tasting beer?
Tasting Beer. Yeah.
We know-
Randy Mosher.
I feel like we have to.
Moser.
Sorry. I feel like we have to do our research now. Keep our knives sharp.
Oh yeah.
People
But,
are holding us accountable. This is great, man.
Yeah, really,
It
really
is
good
very
beer. But I mean,
refreshing.
you notice how high the attenuation is, like how dry this beer is and how scrubbing it is on the palate. This is what they were talking about. Like this is pretty much built for any type of big time cheeses, anything, any type of oily food, because it's so scrubbing. It's not going to keep it on your palate too long. Also, think about some raw oysters with this, with like a really nice, like a vinaigrette, like a mignonette.
Hard pass.
Oh, I could deal with that with
Yeah.
this beer. I'm not big on them by themselves, but if I pair them with a beer, something like this,
I'll be honest, I've never had them paired with beer, so
Yeah, it should do a PBR or something.
I'd try it.
Yeah. No, next time, when the season comes around, in football season, we know that's always when you're doing the oyster roasts and stuff like that. Next time you go to everybody's house, it's like, yeah, man, we're doing oysters. Instead of grabbing that 12-pack of PBR or whatever that you're just going to pound for oysters, get something good. Get, like a big Belgian or something like that. And it really, really changes the dynamic of even something as, especially being here in the South, as an oyster roast, and kind of, that kind of changes the game.
Yeah.
Well, actually, Blackwater, that place I set up my artwork every Friday night, also does, I think, a monthly oyster roast on Saturday that I set up art booth. So
That might have been what was.
I have access to oysters.
Next time,
I
dude,
just have to
throw something good in your cooler.
get some balls and go suck one down.
Did you just say you wanted to suck down some balls?
No, I said grow some balls and suck one
Oh,
down.
grow some balls and suck them down.
Yeah, that's a
Well,
trailer.
this is. Never mind.
Yeah.
Let's move on.
Okay. I'm okay with that. Yeah, but this is delicious.
No,
they
it's very good.
even mention
And I've
on the
never had this
label
one.
the whole good to drink during a hot summer day, and I agree. Very
Yeah.
refreshing. It's bright.
Yeah,
Chris?
but it's also, it's kind of dangerous. It's 6.5% too. I think just because it's such a bone dry beer, it kind of it almost masks that boozy quality.
Right.
Yeah, toward the back end though, the longer it sits, just with the one sip, I can feel the alcohol though. I think it kind of creeps up on you. Can get it on the back end.
It kind of gets a little prickly.
Yeah. So this place was founded in 1950
Damn.
over in Belgium, microbrewery.
I mean, was that like 60 something years?
Yeah.
67,
Oh.
68? What year is it?
1990s, they added bakery and cheese making facilities. So they make bread and cheese there as well to pair with this. So that's good.
Well, I mean, if you're making beer, you're practically already making bread, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they say. At least I have no idea. I've never brewed beer ever. I want to, though.
Somebody was telling me. I think it was the guys at Oak Road. They just made a beer and they just threw bread into the fermenter.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I can't remember what he was making, but something for this World Cup of beers that they're doing.
Kristen's bread?
Excuse me?
Was it Kristen's bread or Nick's bread?
No.
No.
I don't remember what bread they said they used. I think it was just Wonder Bread.
Wonder bread? I
Oh,
was
wow.
going to say that.
That's even cooler.
Yeah, that would be kind of cool.
Yeah.
The
But-
Wonder Beer.
A buddy of mine has a tiny little shed. It's almost like a garage, and it looks like it was made to be a garage, but it's like a townhouse in Nexton, so it's not a garage. It's like a tiny shed.
Yeah.
And it's like bare. I'm like, dude, we should make beer in here. He's like, I've never done that. I'm like, I've never made beer. We have space for it now. We got to do it.
Yeah.
So, I'm very curious. My mom actually got me, oh, it's so sweet, a home brewing book right over there. And
Good.
Brian's got
Yeah.
plenty.
Yeah, I've got quite a few of them over there. But
And I know so many people that brew already. So
Yeah, and I mean,
the Saison is my next beer, as a matter of fact.
Nice.
I'm ready to roll. We're going to call it a Saison because we're going to brew it in the zinc garden.
oh, that's awesome.
Maybe put some green tea or some oolong or something.
Oh, that'd be
in it.
cool. Yeah.
So,
And that's, once you add something like that in secondary fermentation, it's just especially with saisons,
yeah.
those flavors are gonna be so pronounced. Yeah, it'd be huge for you. And are you gonna help?
I mean, if he lets me.
Yeah, once we get it going. Sure.
I mean, I gotta learn sometime, right?
Yeah.
Let them stir.
There we go. I'm really good at stirring. So you've brewed before.
I have.
You help brew, full brew, home brew,
Mm-hmm.
all of it.
It's homebrewed for a while. I helped up at Oak Road for a while. I fill in at Coast Brewing Company up in North Charleston. I don't help them brew. Pretty much more. They call me in when they need help canning, and I work in their tasting room one day a week.
Oh,
So,
nice.
but yeah, I've definitely been there and watched all aspects of everything that they do, and it's so fascinating watching those guys at Coast. And
Well, we heard We mentioned in one episode, right, that they rent their canning machine. Do they still rent the machine, or do they own it now?
No, it pretty much is a renting service. It's a mobile canning company. It's called Ironheart Canning. They're based out of Asheville, and it started as a small company. This guy bought a box truck and essentially just it's a mobile canning line. It's a 4-head can filler, so it does 4 cans at a time. But you can load it up in a box truck and drive it to a brewery, and it's pretty much 3 big pieces, and you just connect them, and it's a mobile conveyor belt, and you hook a hose right up to your bright tank, and it pulls the beer off right into the filling heads, and you're filling cans, and it puts the lid on it, crimps it down. It's really, really cool to see. It's one of those, like, that mildly fascinating, or all those things you see on Facebook where it's just like so soothing to watch everything come together. Like no one is unhappy on canning day, because it's just like, it's so cool to just watch. It's mesmerizing. But so they come in, they can everything off, all those the 6-pack holders that you have to stamp on top of the cans, it's all done by hand. So the end of the day, your palms are sore because you just stomping those down. And
next time they do that, call me if you're going to be there.
Yeah,
text me, call me, something. I'd like to come down and see it.
Oh, absolutely! It would be a really cool thing for y'all to get some footage and definitely kind of see how it's done. Yeah, it's really cool. But yeah, so they come into town about every other week, and while they're down here, I think Coast was their first account in this area. And I mean, I may be wrong. Don't quote me on this, but last I checked, I know Frothy Beard's using them. Revelry, I think one other brewery is using mobile canning in the area as well.
I can't remember anybody that canned prior to Coast. I mean, like you said, I think they might have been the first ones to use them here locally, because Palmetto was bottling. They hadn't started canning until just recently, right?
Yeah, and I mean, all of their cans are done out of Florida with their contract brewery that they have down there.
Yeah.
And that's been a deal that they've had in place. I mean, the Pilsner and the Porter. Yeah, that's all.
So they put it in kegs and ship it down?
No, they just have a contract down there. They ship them the recipe, and they replicate the recipe down there, and it's Palmetto beer, but it's just all the cans that you see in the market are.
So it's a satellite brewing company that they just can and distribute it from there.
That's weird.
Yeah, there's a really big factory down in Florida that does a lot.
As far as the water they're using down there and what we use up here.
Oh no, I mean, most breweries are they're making sure that their water is correct before it goes in. Pretty much all breweries have a way to make their water harder, make it softer for certain beers. Adding certain fining agents before it even hits the beer to mimic certain qualities. So yeah, they can dial all of that in, make sure everything's correct.
Okay, that's good.
Very interesting.
I mean, that used to be one of the discerning factors of beer, was where you were located in the water that you had. But
yeah, I mean, if you
can manipulate that, you can kind of copy anybody's style. You
go to Oak Road, over in the corner where the mop sink is, there's a water purifying system right there built onto the wall.
Okay.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, if you think about it, water is 95% of what we're drinking.
Yeah.
I mean, if you don't have that source right, and if you look through the history of beer, that's what made certain styles what they are. If you look at the pale ale, one of the things. I mean, take for example, probably the flagship in my mind, the Paramount pale ale made in America is Sierra Nevada's pale ale, green label beer.
Yep.
It's the beer that took me from, okay, I like Pete's Wicked Ale and I like Sam Adams. First time I was Sierra Nevada, I was like, holy shit.
Yeah.
Like, this is, like, it was one of those things where it's just like, this is amazing.
I think I'm right there in the same spot as you.
Yeah.
Sierra Nevada and Anchor Steam beer.
Anchor Steam,
good one that got me kind of started into
Absolutely, yeah. And then, I mean, I remember when the Pop the Cap law happened in South Carolina in 2006, the Total Wine in West Ashley just opened, and that was the only place to get beer.
Yeah.
So the first thing that really hit the market were Belgian beers like this. Like, I remember having this beer, 12 years ago for the first time, because it was the first, you couldn't get beer in South Carolina over 6%. This is 6.5. I was like, well, it's got to be better. And I tried it. I was just like, holy shit, this is mind blowing, because no one was doing Belgian beers in the United States, really. I mean, you had a couple of breweries that specialized in it, but I mean, Omegang, for example, and look at New Belgium.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, New Belgium built their reputation on basically being that's why they're called New Belgium. They copied those old school Belgian recipes and did them in Colorado.
For the longest time, I thought Ommegang was actually from Belgium, and then my younger brother corrected me one day and said, "You don't have a Belgian beer. That's made in New York."
Yeah, it's made in Cooper.
What the hell? This whole time I had a cool beer.
The funny thing is that you know who just purchased Ommegang a couple of years ago? Duvel Morgat, which is the biggest Belgian craft.
Oh.
You know, I mean, you know
Never heard
Duvel.
Yeah, that's flattery if I ever heard of it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Big time.
Yeah, it's huge. But I mean, and they also own
all those guys over there.
Boulevard.
All the brews.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. They got that money in that
Belgium.
European market, man.
Mm-hmm. Countries, places. Yeah.
Well, now they're opening up too, right? I mean, I haven't been to Germany. I've never been there, but I know they have the German purity laws. But they're branching out now too and getting away from all those original laws, right? Aren't they doing
Oh yeah,
that
they
over
overruled
there?
those. I want to say it was late '80s, early '90s.
Oh, that far.
Mhm.
That far back.
Yeah, the problem is that I mean, you know the way the Germans are. They're real strict on what they do. So even though they could change them, it's like, I mean, if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
And I mean, who doesn't love just an amazing German beer? Like
Yeah,
in the
for
summer, a Pilsner. You know, you
Yeah.
get done cutting the grass, boom.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, we talk about stuff that got us started in, in the craft beer scene. We've talked about it before. That's one of the big things that got me started was the traditional classic cloudy Hefeweizen,
Mm-hmm.
from a nice British pub or an Irish pub or something.
Yeah.
I used to love those, and now I don't really like them at all. But that's kind of what got me started in
I had
the big heavy craft beers.
I had something really weird yesterday. Actually, one of the brewers I was talking to from Tradesman had their transmission fluid, I think is what they call it. It's a beet and ginger Hefeweizen.
Really? That
Yeah.
sounds good.
That sounds really
It
good.
was pretty. It had that earthy beet.
I was going to say
taste.
that's the thing with beet. It seems like every beet beer I've had, it doesn't seem like the beet would impart that much flavor, but it's just like it's huge.
Yeah, it tastes like you're drinking the ground.
Mm-hmm.
So like when you eat a salad, you just feel healthy. Like this is healthy for some reason. It's got that healthy thing. And that's what you think about when you drink this. Plus with the ginger, it gives like the little heat to it.
Mm-hmm.
But that's not overpowering either. It was really well balanced, and it's like pink as you can imagine.
Yeah. So basically, you were juicing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I was rejuvenating myself.
Yeah.
Getting some vitamins from
Yeah.
the beets.
Did you do hot yoga afterwards?
No, because thunderstorms, so I did wet yoga. As I sat in a seat and ate a hot dog like a fatty. Yes, I will eat this hot dog.
So they have food down there now?
Oh, it was a like a
Food truck?
no, it was a thank you party.
Okay.
That's where I was at. Where'd you think I was?
Tradesman.
Oh no, so I was at a party that the brewer from Tradesman was at.
Okay.
He's not the head brewer. His name is Kevin something.
Good.
Sorry, Kevin.
Sorry, Kevin.
You have to get Kevin on the podcast now,
Yeah,
so you can
trying
learn
to.
his last name.
I know. I have it in my phone, but I don't want to whip it out.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it was just very strange. It's been a
Yeah.
while since I had Hefeweizen. They have a thicker body. They fill me up more when I try
Oh,
to
for
drink
sure.
them.
Yeah. The wheat. It's
Yeah.
huge on them. Yeah.
But that was a weird one. That's for sure. I had to share.
We have to get down there. Are they officially open yet? I mean, you probably know more than we do, but
I don't know. I did see Chris Wynn, one of the owners, which if you don't know Chris Wynn, go down to Tradesman and just introduce yourself. He's one of my favorite people in the Charleston craft beer scene. He's an amazing dude. He's one of those people that like you can be in the worst mood in the world and have a conversation with him and walk away from that conversation and be like, damn, I feel better about myself right now.
nice.
I saw he posted a picture over the weekend of the front, and it looks like they've just got everything like just newly landscaped.
Oh, okay.
Which last time I saw it, it was pretty much a warehouse parking lot up off of that North Meeting area.
Yeah.
But yeah, the picture I saw the other day, it looks beautiful up there. So I don't know. I don't think they've released like a grand opening yet, but I know that they have been open on like Saturdays and Sundays, like, I think from like noon to 4 or 5 or something, doing tasting room hours.
Yeah, for sure. They've definitely been doing business. I just didn't know if they've done a grand opening or they're still soft opening.
Yeah, I think they've just been kind of feeling it out. I don't know how many tanks they have up and running up there yet, like making beer. I know they've still been making stuff at their old facility.
Right.
So
I
Oh,
like that old
they're
stuff.
open.
Yeah.
They have they're still fixing like the bar and tasting room is open, but they're still trying to get like the rest of the stuff in there too. Like he said, like 3 weeks max, and everything will be perfect, exactly what they want.
That's awesome.
They jumped from like I want to say it was like a 12 or 15 barrel system to a 60 barrel system.
Yeah.
It's huge.
Yeah, it is. They have
went
giant
huge.
silos.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, that blew my mind. That's a leap.
That's huge.
Yeah. That's nuts.
But it's great for them. I'm really excited for that whole team over there, Scott and Sarah Gale. They're all awesome people, and to see what they've done, and especially that whole area up there, man.
I haven't been.
Dude, there's like 5 or 6 breweries right there within.
go.
I mean,
Keep
within a
talking
stone's throw. Yeah.
Well, you should meet us down there sometime.
No, definitely. I mean, it's from where I'm at in West Ashley. It's from that whole brewing district. I think I'm like 10 minutes away.
Perfect.
Like all I have to do is go across the North Bridge right there at Cosgrove,
Yeah.
and then take Sproul and head down that way, and I'm there.
Yeah.
It's got to be a weekend day then.
Mm-hmm.
Which my weekend's just opened up.
Yeah. True.
So we have
We're
to
gonna do it. We're gonna go down and do a hop.
You're right.
Just hit everything.
You want to maybe try and do next week? Actually, by the time when will this come out?
You have to do your math over there.
I know I didn't write any of them down because they're on the website.
Well, we got Scott and Tommy on Friday, and then Slayton's right after him, right? On
So I
Tuesday?
think
Are we that?
Joey comes out on Friday.
Joey's tomorrow.
Oh my God, you're right. So yeah, that would be next weekend.
I think so. I think next Friday.
So
It's gonna
by
be
the
quick.
time people hear this, we will maybe be out right now.
Yeah, I mean, let me see what the date is.
Well,
If I'm not working, we could definitely choreograph
It's the 11th.
something. Do a little bar hop.
12th?
Today's the 11th.
The 11th.
11th of days, man.
I don't keep up with days anymore. I mean, I have to because we have appointments. But I lose track. I have to physically look at my watch or my calendar to see what day it is.
I do the same thing. Yeah, if it's not native, that's
I
how I
don't
keep
work
up.
a 9 to 5 Monday to Friday anymore, so it's just like I lose track of the days.
You guys use a planner on your phone?
No, I just use
Just use
the Apple
calendar.
calendar.
Yeah,
See, I
calendar.
did that for a while too. And someone recently, Dan Riley, suggested I do Google Calendar.
Yeah, you can add like colors and all kind of different
Oh,
things
I
to
love
it.
it.
And,
Yeah.
I've noticed people that have suggested that as well, but
It's funny because I use so much with Google Drive. I don't know why I don't
Right.
use Calendar as well. I should probably do that.
And it's great because you can link
just
it to
write down.
different
We'll
email
write down and
addresses.
look at it.
Yeah.
And you can
Google-
shut different ones off, so you can only see certain events. Like, okay, so like when am I scheduled for craft? Like when do we have podcasts? And I can erase all of the things. You can only see what's lined up. I love it. It's so far, and it's very visually appealing.
Okay.
So it makes you want to
So,
look at it.
yeah. And that's what I dig about all the other Google apps that I use, with Drive and Sheets and all that.
Yeah.
It's just, it's so easy to customize on your phone, too. It's great. I love it.
I have to look into it.
It's
See, I
good,
still
man.
haven't done a lot with any of the Google stuff, to be honest with you. I'm still stuck on this whatever's on the Apple phone, but
Google Drive is everything to me. I use it so much.
yeah, my son uses it quite a bit. He sends me stuff on Google Books or something, Google Drive, Google. He
I don't
sends shit on something.
Docs, Sheets. They have everything you could possibly imagine.
I mean, it's pretty much all the Microsoft Office stuff for free.
Yeah.
Right.
So, yeah, it's great.
Oh yeah. And that you used to have to like find someone who has the disc that had like a certain amount of shares on it. And
Yeah.
like, oh yeah, can I download
Use your
that?
copy. Yeah.
Please,
Yeah.
sir, may I have a copy?
Like, what do you really need this? I have nothing else to write a Word document on.
And then when I was in the military, all the branches of the military use Windows, so they use Office, obviously. So they want you to be able to use Office, so you can go home and do work for them, off the clock on your time.
Mm-hmm.
So they give you a disk for free and say, "Here, go home and put Office on your computer. Okay, now while you're at home, do this Excel spreadsheet and do this PowerPoint and do this stuff." So it's all a fucking
gotcha.
farce.
Yeah.
Yeah, they got you exactly.
Bunch of
Government guys.
yeah. I think that speaks for itself.
Yeah, that's why I gave that up.
I don't blame you. I don't blame you at all.
I'm adjusting my mic. I know Slayton's going to get mad at me, but
I think he's going to
we
enjoy it.
just put these mics back up because we've been out of town. So I'm trying to get
So
thing right. Like you had it way over here. I moved it over here earlier because it was way too close. But
yeah, I didn't know where you wanted. I don't use it. Were you in the military?
No, I wasn't. My dad was in the Air Force, though. So
Okay.
I was an Air Force brat for, 18 years growing up.
How many locations you hit?
Jeez, born in California, Philippines, Miami. Then my dad was at Tyndall Air Force Base in Panama City, New Hampshire, Langley Air Force Base, Sumter, South Carolina, Fayetteville, North Carolina. Then I finished high school up there and came down here to go to college, and my dad ended up retiring same time, and he moved down here and started working for the county.
Yeah.
So
Nice.
Fayetteville, they called that Vietnam. That's what they called it.
What?
yeah.
Why?
I don't know. I guess it's rough up there.
Damn.
Yeah.
That's what you always heard.
Do you have like
Station at Vietnam.
a fondest place? Brings you the most like nostalgia and happiness?
Yeah, you know, I lived in New Hampshire from the ages of like 8 to 11, and that was right at the time where snowboarding became popular, and up there it snowed all the time, and it's pretty hilly. So, I mean, we had hills in the backyard, so I just remember, you know, living in New Hampshire, freezing my ass off as a kid, and snowboarding in the backyard like all winter long.
Do you have
Does
a
the
Burton
Appalachian
board?
Mountains go through there?
What?
You go all
Appalachian?
the way to Maine, right?
Dude, I am not a geography person.
Yeah.
I don't know.
They do, yeah, right there, the White Mountains
Yeah.
in New Hampshire.
I'm going to cut you off, but
Oh, I was asking, did you have a Burton board?
No, I don't even remember what kind. This was like early days. This was probably like 87, 88.
I listened to it was like How I Built This, and the guy who built the Burton brand was one of the first innovators of not surfboards, snowboards. He copied one of, like, it was like a really cheap edition. It was,
I mean, it's definitely the biggest brand for sure in snowboarding.
yeah,
Whether
I
it's
just
apparel or
didn't know.
boards.
He was like the only one for a while, and no one caught on. I don't know. It was a very interesting podcast. I thought that would be crazy if you used the same.
Oh man, that would, yeah. I could only imagine if I was a kid and I had like some old school Burton board that's now worth tons. I mean, look at those guys that, like, my tattooist collects skateboard decks, and he's always, you know, talking about, you know, all this stuff that he finds on eBay of all these old boards that are in pristine condition that are going for like thousands of dollars.
Oh man,
Yeah,
dude,
it's just, yeah.
I really got into skateboard designs for a while. When I was in middle school, I thought I was gonna grow up and design skateboards.
That would be pretty cool. Just find some old boards and do some art on them.
I could do that. I gotta find the old boards
Yeah.
that aren't like cracked in half.
Completely, yeah.
Yeah.
It's hard to do. I mean, but it'd be cool if there are like notches in them. They're obviously
Make
used.
it cooler that way. Yeah.
Maybe it's Craigslist post. I think. There's too many things I gotta keep up with.
I never got into skateboarding.
Dude,
I mean, I had one, but I never really got good at it. I could just go straight. I didn't do any tricks or anything.
that's half the
I could
battle.
maybe pop it up and, you know, grab it, get it off the ground, look cool. That was about it.
Your level of look cool is pretty low.
Yeah, exactly.
But I will say, if you miss the board, like if you pop it up and miss, that is the most embarrassing thing. It's
Yeah.
worse than falling when trying to do a trick, because at least you're trying to do a trick.
Or when you accidentally hurt yourself by trying to do a trick, like really, really bad for something that you could have avoided.
Yeah.
Did that happen?
Oh man, I can't tell you how many times I'd miss tricks and like smack myself in the shin. You know.
I've
We were
got
more into BMX biking. We had, you know, quarter
That's
pikes
cool.
and half pikes in the back, or pipes in the back of people's yards, and we just were on there with bicycles. And a couple guys would throw a skateboard up there, but we were more about the bikes
that's cool too.
at that point.
I did bike, skateboard, inline like skating, like grinded and stuff, like razors, the scooters,
Raiders or scooters.
so many things.
It was a little past my time. My kids were into those, but
Hell yeah, man, they were hot when they first came out. Boy.
I mean,
I
they're making a
remember
resurgence right now, I think. But
you get those on Christmas Day in South Carolina. You know, it's about 60 degrees outside. It's not too bad, but when you're a little kid, it's cold. You don't got the thermal heating that you get when you grow up. We're still out there bundled up, just like on a razor, just crying. Our tears are just like whipping us in the face. Like, we're going so fast. On a little razor scooter.
yeah,
Hurts to breathe because it's so cold.
Best of times.
yeah.
Then you
I've
run
done
inside.
Christmas like that with brand new bikes.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, same thing. You're out there just bundled up and you say wind burn and your eyes are frozen together.
Definitely, man. That's awesome.
But you had to get out there, man. You couldn't get out there and not ride. Brand new bike.
Well, speaking of wind burning coldness, how good did you get at snowboarding, and do you still snowboard?
Oh, I haven't snowboarded in years. And I think the main thing is that, like, living here, we really don't, it's, you know, got to pretty much get all the way up into Virginia and West Virginia to, get some decent, ski slopes and whatnot. And it's far,
Yeah. I got lucky. My grandparents had a mountain house up in Boone, North Carolina for
very cool.
40 years of my life. I started skiing when I was 5 years old up there. So it was convenient. Well, it wasn't convenient. It was still 4.5 to 5 hours away, but convenient to be able to drive up there every season and have a place to stay for free and ski all year. So I never snowboarded, but skied pretty much my entire life so far.
I feel like I would be a snowboarder. I've never tried.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're a skateboarder, probably that's a good progression.
Easy, yeah.
I mean, the time I started, there was a snowboard, so I had no choice, and I had no desire to go to.
I don't blame you. I mean, if you can ski and you have fun skiing, if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Exactly. Yeah.
Right. If it ain't broke, because I'm sure I would try something.
That's kind of a dumb
too.
statement. Because you could always improve something. I
might
wooden roller
snowboard
coasters.
one time and I'm sold. I'm like, freak skiing or fuck.
You gotta at least try it then.
Fuck skiing. It's in the clean podcast. Discuss if you want.
You gotta at least try it then. Life is all about experiences.
I probably will, but every time I go and I say, okay, I'm gonna rent me a board today, I'm like, why? I got my own skis and poles and boots in the car. Why am I renting a snowboard?
Yeah, that is a good point though too. If you already have the gear, there's no sense in spending more money.
Experiences.
I know.
Well, that too.
I really thought about it when I got my kids into snow. When we were in Alaska, my youngest son decided to be a snowboarder. My oldest son decided to follow me and be a skier. So I kind of should have done it at that point so I could share the experience with both of them. One was a skier, one was a snowboarder. But
and now
I suck as a parent.
Yeah, you're the worst.
They hate me forever now.
Well, at least Alec, you don't snowboard with him. You hate him.
Yeah.
Screw you, Dad.
My oldest up in Alaska right now, as a matter of fact. First time he's been back since we left in 2011 in the summertime.
The sky's falling out, apparently.
Yeah.
It sounds like it is.
We missed a big storm yesterday, right when we pulled off the river at Earl's place, kayaking on the Edison yesterday. The sky dropped out. Big storm was following us the whole time. We pulled out just in time.
It hit us at Isle of Palms.
I like when I
We
pull out
were
just in time.
maybe 40 yards.
Yeah, because you asked where we were and how the river was because it was already raining where you were.
Lightning hit on the beach.
Oh, jeez.
And almost immediately you heard that crack, and we all about just emptied our bowels right where we were sitting.
Yeah.
It was hilarious.
Yeah.
I love a good thunderstorm. I'm a big fan.
I don't like it when I'm on the water.
Growing up,
yeah, that's never fun.
No, that's terrifying. Not as terrifying as night rafting. Do you like?
We haven't talked about that since that.
Well,
night.
yeah.
We talked about it on that podcast.
I've never been rafting, and I mean I know Slayton as well. And a couple times I've talked to him via text message and whatnot. He's been like, "Dude, you got to come out. You got to come out to Tennessee."
I've got a business
and I'd
card
love
for
to
you.
do it. I'd
You
love to
definitely
do
need
it.
to go.
You have to do it, man. That was my
It
first
looks
time
amazing.
going with him, and
Yeah.
he is an impeccable guide. Like, he takes it very serious. He's
I could
clear
see
to
him-
the point. It's not like a jokey time where we might die. It's
Yeah.
I've told so
very
many people
professional.
Yeah.
I loved it. He allowed me to really enjoy the whole experience without feeling like I was going to die.
Yeah.
Even though after night rafting, I realized it was far more dangerous
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
than he led on me to believe.
Oh yeah.
It was
I told so many people the same thing that I expected to. Yeah, hey guys, just jump in the raft. Here we go. We're going down the river. But he's acted like we were in a group of people going rafting for the first time. Spelled it all out.
Well, granted, I was going rafting. For
Right.
the first time.
But still, I mean, even still, I thought we were just going to get in the raft, guys. We're just going to go down the river. But he took it very seriously. He respected the river.
He did.
Yeah.
He's very into sharing the river with nature.
Because if we fuck up,
phenomenal.
we could kill his ass. So, I mean, he needs to make sure that everybody's on board, literally, on that boat.
But the whole Gatlinburg scene that he's in, he's not in the touristy area. It's so mountain people little cabins and everything just randomly thrown up on a mountainside.
That's so awesome.
It's very cool.
Gnarly. It was beautiful. The air smells different. And I don't know what it is
It's just
about the
any mountain
mountains. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's completely different lifestyle there.
Yeah. I go to Asheville, go to Gatlinburg, Snowshoe, West Virginia, Boone, Flagstaff, Arizona. All those towns exactly the same. Super cool.
The fuck are you waiting on?
Hippie-ish. I don't know. I thought we were talking.
We were only talking until you got the beer out, right?
I'm trying not to make a mess with this one. So what do we got here? We got...
This one's probably going to be a little active as well.
Okay. And yeah, I figured the other one might have been a little shaken up since we just brought it in. But.
Yeah.
So this one is Petrus?
Petrus, yeah. Petrus aged pale. So,
aged pale? Go ahead. Talk about it if you want.
Yeah. I don't know if you guys have ever heard of, but not the pop singer, but there was a British beer guy named Michael Jackson.
Okay.
He was huge. He had a show on
The Beer Hunter.
Yeah, Beer Hunter. It was on PBS for years and years. You can actually get on YouTube and watch all of the episodes. They're also really, really fantastic. Also, if you're a Conan O'Brien fan, way back in the day, he was on Conan. And, I mean, dude, he was half in the bag by the time he got on stage.
Right.
His fly was down. It's hilarious. But it's him sampling Conan O'Brien on a bunch of old beers. And this was like in the 90s. You know, it was really, really neat that they even did it. But Michael Jackson is pretty much responsible for the Petrus Aged Pale. And what this beer is, it's a Belgian pale ale that they age over a period of time. So they're using old aged hops to make this. I don't think this is spontaneously fermented. Does it say anything on there about that?
Doesn't say anything about that, no.
It might just be barrel aged and, and fermented in the barrels.
Yeah, oak fodder is what it says.
Okay, yeah. So that's where, definitely, that's where it's definitely picking up the yeast up in there. So what they would do is they would age different series of this beer over a certain period of time, and they would blend them together. And Petrus has a whole line of other beers, sour beers and whatnot. But Michael Jackson tried this right out of a fodder and was like, why don't you guys just sell this as it is? It's fantastic. Mm-hmm. And that's where the Petrus Aged Pale came around. This was a beer that was, I got this at Total Wine as well. It's always available. It's one of those beers that this was one of my gateway into sour beers, and it's super duper old school. And this is another one where a lot of American craft brewers kind of model some of their stuff after this aged pale ale, but this is what they're trying to mimic before they're putting it into fooders. And, the fooder, that's a huge thing with American craft right now, You've got Revelry. They've got a couple of fooders. They're doing huge things right now with their Wild Ale program. Yeah, I love it. But yeah, this is just a really, really nice golden aged fooder aged pale ale.
Yeah, and it says here aged for 18 to 24 months in these foeders. So.
Is that standard? Or is it longer? Like, is there an average amount that is like suggested to age?
Oh, I love the smell already. You can smell the barrel for sure.
It really just depends on the maturation rate in that barrel, and what your cellarman and your brewmaster, or whoever's running your barrel program, what they feel is the peak for what that beer, what it should taste like. But a lot of times they're taking these beers out of several different foeders, and they're blending them.
I'll give you some more of mine, man.
Yeah, I was gonna say, come here, I got a full one.
Oh, I'm spilling beer all over the goddamn place.
You need some more?
Oh, it's all on my computer. I just bought this keyboard.
Oh, dude, not on the keyboard.
We usually have paper towels up here.
No, I didn't know if there was like a set standard, like do it for at least like 6 months or something for better results, with like a year, or if it's just purely entire like your ingredients that you put into like the wort. Is it wort?
Yeah, the wort.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it really... You ran off to go get paper towels, I guess.
Oh, yeah. What a slob.
I know, right? That's why we can't have nice things. Well, he's gone. We should just go ahead and start drinking without him.
We should drink his beer.
And right now, Caleb reaches across the table. He'll never know. Oh, that's a lot of backwash, dude.
No. Never.
Hey, I'm back, guy.
All good taste. Well, that's gonna be fun.
That was perfect.
No.
You're gonna have
We're
to
just
wait
talking
to
about
find out.
Petrus Aged Pale.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, dude, it smells so good.
Oh, when I was pouring it, I couldn't wait to taste it.
Yeah, so I mean, you can almost like it. It's so tart that you can just smell the tartness right off the rip. It's got that really, really ripe like peach.
Yeah, but also because it's a peach, I guess it has like a finishing sweetness to it.
Mm-hmm.
It almost reminds me of like peach rings when you like when you take a big whiff of the bag, you open up those sugary things, like, oh, it's gonna be tart, but sweet.
It's so sweet.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
That
But you almost
is
get a little
tasty.
bit. It's almost medicinal and kind of herbaceous on the nose, though, too. You know.
That's what I got when I was pouring it. Yeah.
Yeah.
That is phenomenal.
Isn't that awesome?
Oh my gosh.
It's hard to. I mean, we have to make a list of our best beers on the show, and this would be in the top 5,
I
at
know.
least, maybe 3.
Dude,
I'm thinking
Dude,
3. I'm thinking the Timmermans, this, and the Rodenbach.
Oh, which Timmermans did you guys have?
The Oud Goose.
yeah.
What year was that? Do you remember? Caleb brought it. He said he drinks one every New Year's Eve, and he brought us his last bottle they
That's
had.
right.
Oh, that's awesome.
I don't remember the year.
I don't remember either.
But, I mean, if you
Yeah,
finish.
everything I've had from Timmermans, they do an Oud Creek as well, like a cherry. That's fantastic.
Ooh, man.
Yeah,
Yeah.
this was an Oud Goose. I want to say 2015, but I could be wrong.
I
The
think
Rodenbach was 2012.
that Saison Dupont, I noticed when you were pulling the cork said 2016.
Did it?
Yeah. So that had a little stink on it.
Yeah. Oh, you could definitely taste it. I mean, it's fun.
Mm-hmm.
Where'd you see that?
It was on the cork.
Oh,
The cork side.
actual
You're gonna find it when you vacuum. Oh, there it is. It's over there in the corner.
Yeah, but this is phenomenal. Thank you so much for bringing that.
No problem, man. And I mean, this is something that you could find at. I guarantee you can find this at Bill's as well.
Okay.
Yeah. And it's just something that it's one of those beers it's not going to go bad, so you don't have to worry about it, getting all funky like a bunch of IPAs, and it's not a bad price too. I want to say that was like $11 or $12.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah,
I mean, that's
great.
way more than that.
That's,
I would-
that's
yeah, I
a
expected.
world class, a great aged pale.
It's got a nice effervescence, like a champagne type character to it as well. It kind of blends nicely with it, I think.
But I mean,
With the flavor.
we were talking about the food pairing with that Saison Dupont. This is another one,
Mhm.
and this because it has that acidity. You really wanted to cut through some fatty foods. That honestly with a pulled pork barbecue sandwich and some
That's what I
coleslaw.
was thinking. I feel so
a
validated.
little bit of
right
hot
now.
sauce on top, or even grill a steak.
Yeah.
Melt some blue cheese crumbles on top.
Oh man, shut up. That sounds great.
Yeah, it's the way to go with this.
Well, Caleb was talking about they're going to do something. He and Mike are getting together, right, and doing
Are they?
a beer versus wine food pairing or something to
Oh.
show that beer can pair better with food than wine does, or something like that.
Yeah, he said that.
I
I,
love
didn't
that
know
idea.
that was actually happening. That'd be really cool though.
I think
Yeah.
they're trying to do something. I know
We should get in on that.
the Make America Great Again, which is this Friday, right, the 15th.
Oh shoot, is it?
Yeah, $65, probably like 5 courses, but I think they're doing beer, wine, kombucha, and a couple other things. They're pairing a lot of different of their beverages over there.
Did you say it was
awesome.
$65?
$65
Sorry, Mike.
for the pairing.
It's a hard
and the
pass.
food.
Difficult pass.
I don't know if they sold out, how many tickets they sold, but it's up there.
Yeah.
Somerville is good for it.
I mean, that's true. You're getting high quality.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, and if he's serving 5 courses and pairing good stuff, which I know Mike will.
Mhm.
Oh yeah, dude. Mike makes phenomenal work.
His food's so good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's almost like sinful.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
How
Yeah.
dare you?
Yeah, that's why we only wanted him doing food at our event.
And that's why he is the only one doing
He's
food
the
at
only
our
guy.
event.
Yeah, I didn't want any competition with Mike.
Yeah.
He's got great food.
Oops.
People are gonna love it.
Dude, this guy's moving on that day.
Moving? What do you mean?
He's-
Oh, he's moving.
July
You're moving.
1st. I got
I tried
to
to
move
get
a bunch
him.
of furniture that day, so I'll see if I can't push it back. Though I mean, with this much heads up, it shouldn't be a problem.
It's I mean, you don't have to push
It's
back
gonna be a
so
good
much.
first event, but there's definitely gonna be more.
Let's see.
Yeah.
40 Mile Detours is the headlining band, which goes on at 5 something, or they go on at 6 something.
Oh, I can look it up. I got it pulled up right here.
I thought you just made the listing.
Well, I mean, if I were smart, I wouldn't be a slack ass and just wake up that morning and move everything I need to do.
That'd be cool.
Yeah.
Yo, do you ever listen to the Howard Stern show?
Nah.
No.
40 Mile Detour,
Sorry for that.
around 5 is
Okay.
what we're looking at.
Okay.
For them to hit the stage. So.
Nice.
Yeah. So it should continue on. But we have one of the main parody writers from the show coming on.
Oh God, really?
Yeah, a little Mikey.
Oh jeez.
Yeah. Very excited for
You
that.
said you've listened to the show before?
Nah.
Never?
Well, I mean, I did way back in the day, but once Howard moved to Sirius, I didn't have Sirius. So
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel that.
I think they still did. Do you remember when they started the news with Robin, and they would always have some parody songs about her boobs or about
yeah.
stuff, whatever. So this little Mikey writes a lot of those parodies and stuff.
Okay, so I definitely remember that.
Yeah. There was 2 or 3 guys, Psych, Little Mikey, there's a couple other names out there. They would always write songs, and it was a competition of sorts, I guess. But we're looking for more water.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he's coming out there. There you go. That's awkward.
That was a little weird, but
Yeah.
you know.
Should just hand me your glass, I guess.
No, that's okay. Oh, how are you gonna do it? Yeah. See,
Oh, you need it. I thought you needed it.
I do.
Jesus. You got the guests pouring their own water now.
Oh, that's cool.
We've gotten so slack over there.
It just got a little weird. That's why we need an intern. I'm about to make it.
And turn to pour water.
Yeah.
He walks around with a little towel on his arm and
Water boy.
No, just being helpful.
Or you just throw his waters.
I felt so validated
this
as
is
a bar
dangerous
back,
right here.
you know? Like the bartenders need you to be good at your job so that they can be good at their job.
You just want to show off your arms since you're wearing a tank top for the first time. That's what the whole thing was.
Well, earlier the sun was out, so the guns came out.
Yep.
Yeah.
You know, they were locked and loaded, ready to go.
And then, of course, the thunderstorms rolled in and ruined it for him.
Man.
Yeah, and they went
Every
flaccid.
day, this rain's been here for like 3 weeks.
Yeah,
Easily for 3 weeks.
yeah, it
Messing up
happens.
my yard
South
game.
Carolina summer.
Mm-hmm.
Makes
For
it hard
sure.
to keep up with stuff as far as cutting grass and doing shit like that. But
Yeah, especially when it's just a swamp.
yeah,
You know, you do more damage when you cut it.
right. So you keep inviting me to Tin Roof stuff. What's going on with the Tin Roof?
Oh, good old Tin Roof. If you haven't been, it's probably the coolest dive bar in Charleston. We do live music 3 to 5 nights a week. Do karaoke on Sundays, trivia on Tuesdays. It's just a really, really cool little spot. Our specialty is gourmet hot dogs. And the hot dogs are amazing. And it is, I mean, they are huge. Like, it's a
love a
lot
big
of
wiener.
food. Yeah. Didn't see that one coming. But yeah,
Big
definitely.
wiener, you always see that coming.
Yeah, if you're ever in West Ashley, 1117 Magnolia Road, you know, right in the heart of West Ashley. It's a really, really cool spot. Easy to get to from downtown, Park Circle, and everything. But yeah, come on out, see a band. I'm Chris. I'm behind the bar pretty much every night. So it's either me or Johnny, but say hi to him too.
Okay, so that's your main gig.
Yeah, it's my main gig. I also, like I said earlier, I help out up at Coast Brewing Company and, you know, help Dave and those boys out. And I've known them for a long time. They're really, really awesome people. And definitely look up to Dave because if it weren't for he and his wife, Jamie, you know, they were the ones that pretty much changed all of the alcohol laws in
changed
South
the game.
Carolina, you know.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
Well, with the help of Senator Bennett, but yeah, they
Mm-hmm.
changed the game for sure.
it was pretty much, you know, in 2005, you couldn't get a beer in the state of South Carolina that was over 5.9%. And, you know, Dave wanted to open a brewery in his home. He didn't want to, you know, last ditch effort was to move up to North Carolina because the laws had changed at that point. And that's when they decided we could either move or we could just try to change them here and make a brewery in our home. And they did that. You know, Coast has been around for over a decade now. And, you know, they did the pint law. They helped with the Stone Bill that pretty much revolutionized it. I mean, if you look at the growth of breweries in the state of South Carolina since just the Stone Law passed,
Yeah.
that allowed for brew pubs and, you know, you can serve food and, you know, you can do all these things.
Yeah, it's almost tripled.
It really has.
Yeah.
It's huge. And, you know, I'll be honest with you, man, that burger at Holy City is one of my favorite burgers in town.
I agree.
You know, it's
wings are
and, yeah, you know, they're not, these places aren't cranking out like mediocre, like we're not talking about dirty water dogs just to get around a law. You know, these guys are doing legit stuff. And like that brunch over at Holy City,
I go, Sunday's pretty much my day to go to Holy City.
Yep.
And I either go and get brunch or I wait until after 3 and I get regular food. But either way, I'm eating down there.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, it's great. And I love that those guys are expanding too with their big production facility up in right next to Park Circle.
Yeah.
It's huge, you know. I
I haven't
love
seen
seeing
it
it
yet, but I've
happen.
heard a lot of good things.
The only thing I've seen was, I mean, you can see the silos. You know, they've got some big ass grain silos.
How
right
close is it to Coast? Because what I've heard is it's a stone's throw, like across the water from Coast, right?
there. No, kind of, because you know, Coast is up on the old Navy Station.
Right.
It's just east of Park Circle. This is more over on the Sproul side, so
Okay.
think over more like, oh, I mean, it's right next to the new Codfather.
Okay.
So, I mean, it's kind of close,
Yeah.
but yeah, it's pretty much a stone's throw.
Okay. So distance-wise, what would you say? I mean, you can walk there a few blocks, half a mile.
Maybe 2 miles.
Okay.
Definitely a little,
Ooh, that's a
car
walk.
trip.
A little bit of a trek.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're sober by the time you get there.
Yeah.
Like, all right, ready for more.
Yeah.
Well, you got, I mean,
Nice Uber though.
once they open up there, you got
True.
the Park Circle Triangle, because you got, you know, Common House just opened up too.
Good space.
And that seems to be the theme around here, right? I mean, you got Westbrook, Two Blokes, Ghost Monkey. You got now you have this trifecta over there. You got
Yeah.
Frothy. Well, you used to have some more stuff over there. Frothy Tradesmen, all that stuff, but they're kind of spread out now.
Yeah.
But you got the Beer Mile or Beer 2 Mile, I guess, off of Upper King with Munkle and Fatties. And
Munkle, Fatties,
Edmund
Lo-Fi, Edmund's Oast. It's, yeah,
everybody groups together.
it's great. It's, you know, you don't have to go far. And
There's a lot of
It
competition
makes more
with these
sense
guys.
that way. That's why I feel like Somerville needs more.
oh, absolutely.
We are getting another one. Wide Awake Brewery is opening up right out of Nixon.
Next,
Yeah.
sometime
Really?
this year they've said.
Yeah.
2018.
That's very cool.
They're hitting.
Which
That's
is, I
huge.
think the brewer is from another brewery. Is that right?
Yeah, I feel like we've heard that somewhere. Yeah.
I haven't been able to find out where though. But that's pretty exciting.
Wide Away?
Wide Awake.
Wide Awake. Oh, okay, very cool.
Yeah, because when you
Yeah, me a
you
Coke.
go to location services, like on Facebook, if you're over there, it comes up as Wide Awake America for some reason.
That's
So,
weird.
so I think that's why they named it Wide Awake Brewing Company, because you're in Wide Awake America.
Oh, I don't have no
I
idea.
think
why.
that's the
I don't
story I'm going with.
But like that's good. You know, we have another brewery.
Right, and then maybe
And
Taylor
some
Taylor
real-
does something eventually.
That'd
Yeah.
be great.
And you know, it's funny. You know, I for a while I was working at Coast in the tasting room every Saturday, and I noticed a lot of people that they were flying into town to start their vacation in Charleston on Saturdays. You know, before their beach house rents or whatever, and the proximity of the airport to the brewery. That was their first stop. They'd rent a car and they'd come over there, grab a couple of beers, and it was amazing how many people had, you know, they've built such a name for themselves. And so many people are like, oh yeah, I had a friend that came down and visited like 3 years ago and said that this is the first place you need to hit. And from the airport, it's like 2.5 miles. You know,
Oh, that's
why
awesome.
not hit that before you go to your, you know, your beach house or, you know, whatever.
Absolutely.
Yeah, stock up on beer.
It's almost like a must. You should warm up before you go to your beach house.
Well, why don't
Yeah.
speaking of beach house, why don't we have something on the islands? Like Folly Beach used to have their own brewing company, right? Folly
Yeah, they
Beach
had
Brewing
a
Company.
Folly Beach Brew Pub. I'm trying to think because when Folly Beach Brew Pub was around, I lived up in the Raleigh area for a couple of years. I moved up there in '09, from '09 to 2012, and I remember vacationing out on Folly, and they were open, but I don't remember. I know we had like a pilot batch system, but the one time I was in there, of course, it was like middle of the summer around Father's Day, so it's like peak, you know, tourism season, and he didn't have his own beer on tap at the time.
I think the only time I ever went in there that he didn't have his own beer either.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah,
But I don't know why. I mean, is there a reason why we don't have something on Isle of Palms or
That's
on
pretty
Folly
high
Beach?
risk.
I mean,
factor.
real estate is the big thing. I mean, if you think about it, with the money that you're putting into your brewing system and everything like that, that's, I mean, you're looking at a couple $1 million just in stainless steel. Plus, I mean, you have to have the glycol system to chill it and everything to
The
regulate your
insurance
temperatures.
would
That's a lot of money. And of course, being out there on Isle of Palms and Sullivan's,
Yeah.
I mean,
But I mean, other businesses are out there, so obviously you can thrive out there. But
I mean,
why
yeah.
not a brewery?
Yeah, but I mean, after the amount of money you spend on equipment, a hurricane comes in, which is multiple a year.
you know, that's another point. Look what happened to Hilton Head Brewing down.
Yeah.
I mean,
It took a long time to get back up in the
their old brewer is a buddy of mine, and I remember him, you know, sending me pictures. You know, a couple of weeks afterward. Of course, I wasn't going to bother him. You know, I checked in on him to make sure he was okay,
Right.
but he finally got around to sending pictures. That entire brewery was it was completely embedded in sand. I mean, it looked like someone had opened up like a sand pit or like a sandbox in the middle of a brewery. It was nuts. And of course, with the salt water and everything and just the sand damage, all of those tanks were ruined.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah.
Yeah, I went down. I can't remember how long after the hurricane it was, but old girlfriend of mine and I went down there to Bigfoot or something, and we stopped through there to go to the brewery and looked up on Facebook and found the address or on Google and got up there, and it still had a sign on the door that said, sorry, we're devastated by the hurricane.
Yeah.
We're not going to be open for a long time. So I never even got a chance to go to that brewery.
Wow.
Had a lot of their beer, though. The beer was fantastic.
Oh, yeah. The old brewer from there's got a new thing coming out here, hopefully soon. The guy that was there. Yeah. John Rybicki. Yeah.
It's not the Wide Awake thing, is it?
I don't know. Maybe.
I don't know.
That would be interesting. I know last time I talked to John, it was when I was doing Beer Distro, and he had a spot down there, and he was moving tanks in. I remember seeing pictures of it.
How long were they around before the destruction?
Hilton Head Brewery had been down there for a while, but they never. I mean, they were kind of, meh. They were. Hilton Head Brewing for the longest time was almost kind of like South End was, just not making very good stuff. And then John went in there and just really changed their game, and he was doing all those hazy IPAs and whatnot and killing it.
Yeah.
And then the hurricane destroyed all that.
That sucks.
Mm-hmm.
Because, there's nothing you can control about that. It's just a terrible roll of the dice.
Yeah. Yeah. That's honestly why you don't see breweries in Sullivan's Island and Folly, probably.
There it is.
Yeah. I remember the Folly Beach Brew Pub guy, he probably only had like a little 1-barrel system. So that's something that where if a storm was blowing through, you could throw all the back of that in a truck and get it off the island.
Yeah.
To protect your neck, really.
1-barrel system. How much does that produce?
That's what Oak Road started on.
Oh, wow, really?
Yeah. The Oak Road system, Kyle Colston and I built in his garage, and it was basically, it was a 55-gallon stainless steel drum.
Oh, wow.
And with that, of course, you can't fill it all the way up to the lip. But in the early batches, we were only getting, a full barrel is 6 sixtels,
Okay.
31 gallons. And by the time everything was said and done, we were only getting about 5 sixtels out of the early batches. Yeah.
That's hard to run a business with that kind of.
We were selling out of beer hand and foot.
That's a good problem to have, I guess.
It's a great problem to have.
Yeah. Did you find it?
Yeah, the name I come up with is Eric Roberts. Does that name ring a bell to anybody?
No, it doesn't. But it's also.
He's the owner, so I don't know if he's the brewer, but yeah, this was an article in the city paper from December 29th, 2017. Opening of Wide Awake Brewing makes 2 breweries for Berkeley County, and they're counting the other Berkeley County brewery as the one that opened up in Daniel Island, Dockery's.
And not Oak Road.
Berkeley County?
Yeah, that is Berkeley County out there.
I've never even heard of that.
Yeah, Dockery's that new place that opened up on Daniel Island. They're
Yeah.
pretty much smack dab downtown Daniel Island. I still haven't been over there yet.
I haven't either. My brother works on Daniel Island at Blackbod, but haven't been over there.
And I'm.
But you go over for the games all the time.
Yeah, I'm a huge Battery supporter. I've been a season ticket holder and a member of the supporters group for years now. And it's so funny you brought this up because I was at House of Brews the other day, and apparently someone from Dockery's had dropped off some beer samples, and we didn't have a chance to try them. But I was like, man, the next home game I need to go over couple of hours early, and apparently, Dockery's is doing food. I saw the menu. The menu looked great.
Okay.
I just haven't had a chance to get over there. My thing is, I go to Daniel Island. I go to the tailgate before the Battery match, and then I got to go pick my car up the next day because it's a $30 Uber home from the Battery match.
Oh. Man, we keep talking about so much food. I'm getting hungry. That's a problem.
I'm trying to still read this article and see if I can see a brewer's name, but I don't think there's one in there.
It's a shame.
It says they want to eventually have 12 taps offering a variety of beers. He's brewed everything from American lager beers to German beers to Belgian beers. personally prefer darker, richer, sweeter, maltier beers, porter, stouts, but I enjoy a good IPA from time to time. We're going to be a small brewery. Our plan is to stay close to our home brewing roots and be as creative with our beers as the public can appreciate. Look for Wide Awake Brewing to open in August 2018 is what this article
That's
says.
soon.
Wow, that's right around the corner. I mean, it's 2 months away now.
Yeah,
I think
you-
about 2.5 months.
I can't wait to have another option.
I feel like we should have more information if it's that close. Like maybe
Well, they
like an
have a
actual
Facebook
like
page.
a location,
We'll,
pictures.
We'll see if they have anything
Could you throw it up on this
new
thing?
on Facebook.
I switch to the Samsung.
I don't know if I can or not.
Ooh, putting
Anyway.
the pressure on.
Let's see.
So Brian looks into that. Let me ask you. You built this guitar over here.
I did, and I just got it back. Wow, I didn't even notice it was sitting over there.
Yeah, we kind of hid it from you. You know, you took the last electric guitar that Slayton has.
Oh, really?
Well, he got bum rushed, robbed, mobbed.
He was homeless for a while,
It
right?
was fucking robbed. Is what it was.
Jeez.
So when he left to start rafting or whatever, he left his equipment in his own place, and we got back, everything was gone.
But that was still there.
That
Wow.
was still there.
Jeez, I didn't know that. Of course,
Yeah.
he didn't tell me that.
No, he wouldn't. He would never like
Yeah. Wow, that's nuts.
keep it after you asked for it. At least.
Yeah. So,
Poor guy.
I was a musician for years in my early 20s, and I had a rock and roll band based out of Charleston here called Kings of Dillon, and we're just your straightforward, dirty ass rock and roll band, and traveled all over the Southeast, had a lot of fun, and then we didn't really break up. We all just decided we were like, I'm tired of doing this. Let's go do something else. Okay, and all 5 of the members of the band, and plus our basically our band manager, who's started as a best friend that ended up helping drive us around, and was changing strings on the side of the stage, and making sure none of us were getting into fights or getting too drunk or anything like that. But yeah, the 6 of us are still incredibly good friends. But then got out of music for a little bit, and then I moved up to North Carolina, and I started a 3-piece honky-tonk rockabilly band. And I went from playing, I've always loved old school country and rockabilly and bluegrass and stuff like that. It's always been a passion, but I never really played that music because I was like, I don't want people just thinking I'm some dumbass redneck up here, yodeling and shit. Well, I started playing in a rockabilly band, kind of honky tonk stuff, and it was 3-piece. It was I was either playing acoustic or filling in on lead electric. I had another guitarist, and I had an upright bass player. We didn't have a drummer, so all of the percussion in the band was nothing but like that rockabilly slap of the bass, like you hear in like the old Sun Records stuff. And for me, playing in nothing but like punk bands and rock bands and stuff like that, I've always played Telecasters. I've always loved the feel of them, Fender Telecasters. And I was playing through an Orange, so I had like the ultimate rock and roll setup, and it was great.
Yeah.
But playing an Orange amplifier with a Telecaster to do honky-tonk and rockabilly music just doesn't sound very well. So I had to completely modify my setup, and I was playing a Tele that had a humbucker in it, so it was definitely more rock driven. But I needed something that had like that that twang. So I switched guitars, had to switch my amps and everything like that, and ended up, I went through a couple of different guitars and couldn't find one that I really liked, and contacted Fender. And I was like, hey, listen, I'm interested in, talking to your custom shop guys to, build me a custom Telecaster. And this is what I want. These are the specs that I like. And they're like, all right, sounds good. We'll get back to you in a couple of days, and we'll let you know how much it's going to be. And I get the invoice, and man, I almost shit a brick. It was basically a used car. It was a $7,500 guitar.
Dang.
And at the time, I was managing a restaurant. I was about to get married. I couldn't afford it. If I would have bought a $7,500 guitar, I wasn't getting married. I was also going to be living in that guitar case because my shit would have been on the street.
Yeah.
So then, my dad was a amateur woodworker growing up, so I was always, playing with power tools when I was a kid, which is probably what's wrong with me.
You have all your fingers, it looks like.
Yeah. There are no replacements.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Very nice. Lucky man.
Not a cyborg, I promise. Or never mind. But I did a lot of woodworking as a kid, just like basic stuff. And I got online and started reading about guitar building, and I found a bunch of message boards, and it was these guys that were building these amazing guitars in their garages.
Wow.
So for about a year, I studied up on it. In fact, one of my guitarists from Kings of Dillon lived on the other side of Raleigh from me. He had moved back up there to go to school. And his dad is a custom carpenter in that area. That his dad has like a 5,000 square foot shop behind their house. So he and I started fooling around and just started tooling around building guitars and experimenting with things.
Oh, wow.
And we met a guy in the Raleigh area that actually worked for the guitar company that built a lot of Jerry Garcia's guitars later in his life. And this guy was just selling off all of these guitar bodies that he had already, like glued together, and they were already sanded. Basically, it was a blank. You could cut out whatever shape you want.
Oh.
And I was like, man, you know what? It's time. Instead of buying a guitar, I'm just going to build like my ultimate guitar from scratch. And that's where that guitar came from over there. And I played it for years, and then kind of got out of music for a little bit. I was the family man, and I met Slayton when I was working at Oak Road, and he was working over at a homegrown brew house. And, met him doing the ands, and, he came to me, and, I told him, I was like, yeah, I build guitars. I want you to play this thing. And Slayton's had that guitar now for about 1.5 years, 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
And he's been recording with it and writing on it. And, it's really cool hearing him play, especially. It's like humbling having someone that's just that fucking talented of a musician play an instrument that you like. I cut that thing out and sanded it, and there's a lot of blood, sweat, and tears on that plank of wood right there.
Oh, you don't want to know what else is on there.
Oh, I know.
Oh,
yeah. The back of that guitar's got 3 holes.
Yeah.
They're various sizes.
that is neat. That was like your creation. Oh.
But yeah, it's I mean, honestly, the first time I heard him play that guitar at Coastal Coffee Roasters with the ands, it was just chilling for me, And I mean, I've had a couple of friends that are fantastic musicians that have played that thing, and the response has been great. But actually, like having the honor and privilege to let him like take that and be like, all right, and, I almost feel like I should get like some co-writing credits on the next album. And you hear that, Slayton? You owe me money. I'm just kidding, Bubba.
He's taking a big old break. It's been over 1 year since he's really made anything, aside from like our intro music and all that stuff.
Yeah.
It's, we need to get him back into it.
That's the thing, man. In due time,
True. You can't really force it.
Yeah, you can't. And it's definitely kind of the same book in beer. If you rush it, it's just not going to be good.
Yeah. And he does the occasional ditty here and there on Instagram or Facebook or something.
I mean, you can definitely tell that he's still playing every day. I mean, that's definitely something that, it'd just be like you. You think you could stop drawing tomorrow?
No.
Exactly.
No.
I mean, I play guitar every day,
That's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
I carry a sketchbook with me no matter where I'm going.
Yeah.
I don't even, if I know for a fact I'm not going to have time to bring it out, I bring it anyways. Because you never know.
Yeah.
I may know, but you never know.
Yeah.
That's the duality.
Grab it right then and there. I had the Notepad app in my phone. Like, there's times where I'm sitting at a stoplight and it's just like, oh shit, that sounds good. Save it for later.
How do you take notes of that?
Huh?
How would you take notes of?
Just the voice dictation. Like, I'll just sing something to my phone.
Yeah. Oh, okay, that makes sense.
I do the same thing. I mean, for this podcast.
This thing.
Be sitting in the car and just pull up my notes and make a dictation of something, some idea, whatever.
This is my bread and butter.
Yeah, you got that.
I have 2 of these.
And you've made me start carrying this around a little bit and using this. So I kind of do both. Old school and new school.
Yeah. It's so much better than a phone, for me at least.
Yeah.
I never go back and look at my notes in my phone.
Yeah. You got to write it down, though, because so many thoughts come through your mind.
Right?
Yeah.
You just wish you had a pensieve at all times.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Be nice eventually.
All right, so you know what I'm talking about. No?
What's that?
A pensieve?
Pensieve?
A pensieve. No? Neither of you know what a pensieve
I know
is?
what pen is.
Do you know what pensieve is?
No. Spell that.
Pensieve?
Never heard of that.
Yeah. Well, it's from Harry Potter.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
It's been a long time since I've seen that.
Oh, man, it's a little disc, where
Radio.
you pull your memory or your thoughts out and you put it like in a jar and you dump it into like a basin.
Yeah.
So you can go back and look at your exact memory of something or like a thought. So it's like an exact replica. Because our memory sucks balls, honestly. Like,
Yeah.
You
Well,
can't
there was,
remember jack
you watched
shit.
Black Mirror on...
I haven't
Netflix,
still. I still
I still haven't seen that either.
There's an
Thank you.
Yeah.
Finally, someone else.
There's an episode that's kind of similar to that.
Really? See, that's cool, man.
Implanted memory type thing.
Yeah,
And it's
I keep
really-
hearing that that's like
It's
like
close.
a new like Twilight Zone kind of thing. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Oh.
100%. Yeah.
I thought you're talking about them recording your dreams, which is close. They're really close to interpreting your dreams, and you can actually go back and watch them.
It's just
Black Mirror's
creepy.
amazing.
I mean, it is terrifying, right?
Oh yeah.
Pretty good.
Oh, yeah, Black Mirror is just... I feel like it's intense, I think it's going to just rock people's
that's what I'm worried
reality so
about, too.
much.
It does. I mean, it's the future. I mean, it's just like Twilight Zone. All that shit you see on Twilight Zone
I never watched
back in the
Twilight Zone.
50s.
Oh,
It's a lot of it's
dude,
coming true. Man.
do yourself a favor and go back like the cinematography and the.
Really?
Oh yeah.
Wow, okay.
Early, like really, really good stuff, and you'll see where a lot of like films and television shows later built the basis, especially thrillers and a lot of horror movies. A lot of them were based off of those early, like the Alfred Hitchcock and the Twilight Zone series. Totally
Yeah, Outer Limits,
worth checking.
same thing.
Yep, Outer Limits. Yeah, that's another great one.
That's a good way to get me to watch. Cinematography will always catch my eye faster
absolutely,
than plot
yeah.
or anything else.
I mean, look at a spaghetti western. If it weren't for the cinematography that they were doing, those movies would be absolute crap.
Yeah.
They'd be like microwave spaghetti. No? Whatever.
What's our time?
It's about 1:18 actually, and you guys want to take a break real
Let's
quick?
take a quick break.
Take a break.
All right, cool. That sounds good. I gotta pee.
I'm glad you said it before me.
Coming back. But if we all here again, then we're just chatting. I like to have it on record.
Yeah, you never know when you're gonna get something good.
Yeah, absolutely.
Tell me something good.
Oh yeah, so we gonna do this before, but that sticker's for you. If you like stickers, I don't know if you're a sticker guy.
I've actually got some of the Charleston Wiener Crawl stickers in the car. I got to bring one of those in.
Nice.
What? Yes.
I told some people today I wasn't sure if you were gonna come dressed as a hot dog.
Oh man,
I thought there was a good possibility that might happen.
We thought
I
of
didn't even think about that, man. I totally should have brought the
Well, next time.
wiener suit.
It'll drive hype for the next time you're here,
Right.
and maybe we'll only talk in weird voices the entire time. Well, this is my wiener voice. The entire podcast will sound like this. Jar Jar Binks.
Oh, Lord.
No?
That is kind of Georgia, man.
It's just saying that we're going to steal your soul
Yeah.
and make money off of your face
Yeah,
because you're so beautiful.
Say something stupid or
There's-
well, you should have thought ahead of time what you were saying.
Yeah,
It's a very
I'm used to saying
Same for
stupid
us,
things all
really.
the time. So
same for us, indeed. Yeah,
we don't.
we're
we
putting
don't edit a
ourselves
lot
out
of
there
stuff.
for vulnerability as well.
We pretty much keep everything on the video.
Yeah, it's too much work to go back and like pinpoint things and take it out.
nah,
Like, who's got time for that?
no.
Yeah, if it's said, it was said. It was real. It's in the moment.
Exactly. And speaking of that,
Unless you're Roseanne, and then you got to keep some
Oh,
shit to yourself.
Jeez. Yeah.
damn, just
But
lock
I've
your.
heard Joe's going to have her on the show, I think. Joe Rogan? What the fuck is going on?
Yeah, what are you doing over
I'm
there?
trying to scoot this thing up and the wheels
Well,
not
this stupid
spinning.
rug is in the way.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, he
So-
was going to have Roseanne on in the first place. Let's hope she doesn't Roseanne his episode.
Let's hope she does.
We're using her as a bird now for when you're racist on accident, apparently.
Come on, no Roseanne is serious this episode.
How many people are gonna get mad about that? Like, you can't be racist on accident. Yeah, you can.
Oh, you absolutely can. Especially when you're born in the time that she was. I mean, she was raised with racism, and that's just like people that are indoctrinated with religions or whatever. That shit gets ingrained in your blood.
Yeah.
And sometimes shit just slips out.
Especially when you're on Ambien and you're losing your freaking mind.
Right. You're 70 years old and you're on all these medications. You're an alcoholic. I mean, sometimes you say some stupid shit.
Yeah, what's up with that?
We're gonna go.
We're going heavy hitter now.
We're totally
going heavy
gears.
to small. Heavy to small. So
just a 12-ounce bottle on this one.
Yeah, let me get off of this page here. So this is 120-minute IPA. So the basic description of just a regular 120-minute is 18% alcohol, 120 IBUs, hence the name 120. The holy grail for hopheads. What are you doing?
I'm waving at myself.
Clocking in at 15 to 20% ABV, 120-minute IPA is continuously hopped for a copious amount of high alpha American hops throughout the boil and whirlpool, and then dry hopped with another pallet of hops, unfiltered and abundantly hoppy. This is the 2015 version that we're drinking.
Oh, yeah.
Ooh, I like
the
this.
bottle actually says it ages well.
Yeah, I like that.
So we're going to find out.
This is
no longer being produced by the brewery.
This is pretty much the only IPA that you should ever even consider cellaring. You know, IPAs are one of those beers that, I mean, most beers, the brewers are making this stuff. They want you to drink it within 100 days. I like to say 90 days, any more than 3 months, and you're going to lose a lot of those qualities that you want. I mean, even in some of your Belgians, but I mean, those are beers that are great to age. You know, those stouts, you know, red ale, Scotch ales, anything that's been bourbon barreled, you know, except for, I mean, there's abominations called bourbon barrel IPAs. That's you know, an oxymoron in my book. But 120-minute IPA, because it is 18%. Essentially, they call this an IPA. It's I've always considered it a barley wine because at the end of the day, it's essentially the same recipe that they're doing for a barley wine.
But fresh, I mean, super fresh. You definitely get some of the IPA.
Big time. No,
like you say, once it's gone,
not to discount that. Yeah,
it just dies.
Oh, big time. And that's where a lot of the time when you get those old IPAs, I know. I have people that come up to me all the time. And they're like, "Oh yeah, I like this beer on tap, but anytime I have it in a bottle or a can, it's not as good." It's like, well, did you check the date on it?
Yeah, it's probably old as hell.
And I mean, that's, you know, grocery stores are notorious. One thing that I always tell people, you know, I've worked in beer stores and I've been in the beer industry for a long time now. And one thing that I've always told people is that, you know, check dates. If it doesn't have a date on it, and unless you know for a fact that it's something that'll hold up to, you know, sitting on a shelf, check the dates. You know, if it doesn't have a date, don't buy it. Don't even take that chance. You know, I don't know. I can't tell you how many times I've been burned. You know, even buying Sierra Nevada Pale Ale, because I've probably had. I mean, God, I don't even want to know how many of those I've had. That'll just make me feel horrible as a person. But you know, I've had that beer a million times, and I've been burned before. You know, I've been in a rush. I've been going over to a buddy's house to watch football and picked up a 6-pack at a grocery store or at a gas station. It's like, oh, it's Sierra Nevada. I know it's going to be good. Psych. It's old.
Oh, it sucks.
Yeah.
I think we ran into that situation in a previous episode when Brad Mallet came on.
Yeah.
We had the overly friendly IPA from Hello City, and that thing was like hyper carbonated. It was crazy.
Really?
Like,
Yeah.
way too much. Like, not at all what you would get if you ordered it at the actual bar or if you just went and bought it. And I think it had been sitting there for so long at Coastal that it was just...
It happens.
It did not age.
And a lot of the time, you know, anytime you have a pale ale or an IPA, and I know that these are insanely popular styles. I mean, the India Pale Ale, as far as in the craft world, has been almost 60% of the marketplace for years now. And if you think about the hundreds of styles of beers, and especially, you know, Belgians have always been popular. Saisons are gaining in popularity. IPAs, man, it's a constant. You know, it's always going to be that high. But you think about how many hopheads are out there, and you think about how many people that are like, I was a Bud Light drinker, and then all of a sudden, a buddy of mine gave me a Dogfish Head 60 minute. You know, that's a very common. Or Bell's Two Hearted. That's another one that you see everywhere. And it's like, I had that for the first time, and it changed my mind. And it's amazing to see that jump, because you wouldn't think that your standard, you know, American adjunct lager drinker is going to go to a hoppy beer and just be like, holy shit. Or, you know, Hefeweizen. You know, that's another great, you know, almost gateway drug kind of beer. You know?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we both started with Hefeweizens. We've talked about that before.
Yeah. Cheers.
You cheers something? What we cheers to?
Ooh.
Old barley IPAs.
Old barley IPAs.
Wow, that body is boozy.
Oh, yeah, this is a boozy beer. This is a 2015. Funny story. Actually, I got this beer when I work for House of Brews, and I know we're probably going to get into that real soon here.
Yeah, sure.
So we'll go
Perfect
ahead and
segue.
start that off. Yeah,
We've got
that
a
actually
right
worked
here
out well. Excuse me. Rob Davis, that runs House of Brews over in Mount Pleasant, really, really awesome little beer store. If you've never been over there, go over there, have a beer. It's either Rob or Jessica that work there. They're both really, really awesome people and great friends of mine. But I worked for Rob for almost a little over 2 years. And I had this random guy. We used to have people that would come in all the time, and they'd be like, hey, I'm visiting from so-and-so, and I always come down here for the beach, and, you know, I love your shop, so I'm going to bring you this beer, and I'm going to bring you this. And people just give us beer all the time. And I had this guy show up, and he was like, he was a dentist in Maryland. Or, I'm sorry, a dentist in Delaware, right where Dogfish Head is. And he showed up, and he was like, yeah, I'm a dentist, and, you know, all the girls that work for me, they gave me a case of this. Yeah, 24 bottles of this stuff. And he brought a couple of 4-packs down, and he was like, dude, I'm not going to drink all this. He was like, here, have one. So I had a 4-pack of this for years, and I gave 2 to friends, and I kept 2. And the first one that we actually drank at the very first brew that we did at Oak Road. And it was me, Brian, and Ben, and Kyle, and we cracked one of these, and it was about 7:30 in the morning, like on a Sunday, making beer. Luckily, there was 4 of us splitting it, though.
Oh, my gosh, yeah.
But yeah, that was right after we got them. So that was this beer hot. So I haven't had this beer since then.
Wow.
That's a good time to crack open a beer, though.
Yeah.
Sunday morning.
Oh, anytime you're brewing and Sunday morning.
Paying homage to your God.
Yeah.
Alcohol, right?
It's so good.
It is very good.
Yeah. Yeah, alcohol. Being your God. You writing a book over there, Brian?
Yeah,
I mean,
Oh my God, I could do
last
a
time I
whole
had this
skit
beer-
with you.
Last time I had this beer recently was when they got it on at Lowe's. We got a couple kegs of it up there, 120.
Whew.
And this is madly more boozy and
Oh yeah,
and thicker body than what we had on keg 3 months ago, 2 months ago.
totally
I mean,
different.
2018, obviously.
Also, I mean, that label says 18, but this was one of the batches where they, at that point, they were only releasing this in just a couple of states that allowed.
Yeah, it said 15 to 20%, so it varies, I guess.
Yeah, and I want to say that this one is up there, probably closer to 19.
Oh, I bet. If it's aged that long, right? It only adds more.
I mean,
Sometimes.
that's not going to change the alcohol.
Really?
Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah, it's not going to change any of the
What does that
alcohol
mainly
content.
change?
I mean,
then?
sometimes you can get some bottles that'll get some yeast in it, and it'll bottle
Yeah,
ferment a little bit.
if it is bottle conditioned, which I noticed that this did have a little floating at the bottom, so this could have increased a little bit.
Maybe. I mean, it's definitely got
So
more
when you
most
age
of the
it-
time, when
yeah,
you age,
okay.
you're going to relax a lot of those really kind of the hard edge nuances to the beer. A lot of the times, with anytime you have big stouts that either have like a chocolate addition because they're using that bitter chocolate, it'll kind of rough those edges out a little bit. Coffee beers, actually, they don't age well. I mean, this coffee just doesn't hold up that well.
Oh no.
And the thing about you're basically, you've brewed with the coffee. Once you made the beer. Yeah. So most coffee stouts, and I have had a few where you're still going to pick up a little bit, but it definitely doesn't have like that rich roasty, almost a little bit of a bitterness that you expect from a coffee stout, like right off the rip.
Right.
Yeah.
That's a solid point that I had not I never really like pinpointed. Like, it's not that I wouldn't have got to that realization at some point, but just not like the path that I saw to go down. Like, I did not think about coffee not aging well in the terms of beer.
Yeah,
because normally with coffee, you don't want to wait more than 3 weeks to drink it. You want something within that time frame.
Absolutely, yeah. And of course, with beer, it's going to hold up a little longer. But I mean, I've had coffee stouts that I've sat on for, 6 to 8 months, and they've been fine. And I mean, you're a coffee guy. You probably know. Probably, it's going to hold up different depending on the roast and whatever the blend is that you're using.
Yep.
And I'm pretty sure. I mean, the brewers nowadays, man, these guys are just they've taken out all the stops. They think of everything, and I'm pretty sure. I mean, pretty much every brewer I know, because you're up at the ass crack of dawn up there, milling in and getting everything right. I don't think I know a brewer that isn't a coffee drinker.
Right?
It's almost like beneficial,
Do you have to have your daytime supplier of the caffeine drug to make it to the nighttime supplier of the alcohol drug?
I mean, I've got the best job in the world because I work at the coffee shop during the day, and then I move right over to the brewery. So I get coffee during the day and beer at night.
Same building.
Same building. I just walk right over.
Yeah.
And I change the shirt, and I'm in beer mode.
Good to go.
Absolutely. That's awesome. Yeah.
God, this beer's so good.
It is.
It is.
A lot of, you get, there's a lot of dark fruit. Like, you get a lot of raisin in there. Like, a lot of dried fruit in there. The hop characteristic is completely faded.
Oh, yeah. Big time.
Yeah. And that's one thing, even with these big barley wines, a lot of the times I probably got off on a bunch of tangents. But with an IPA and pale ales that fall off real quick, you get that it's that oxidized hop, and it always tastes like wet newspaper or like wet cardboard kind of. It's that really it's just that weird flavor.
Is that similar to wet horse blanket?
I think it's less pungent than wet
absolutely.
horse blanket.
Oh, but I mean, there's times, I've been to bars before where I've ordered a beer, an IPA especially, and it's like, as soon as I order off the bottle list, I'm like, that was a bad idea. I know what it's going to smell like. And they open it up and they sit it down. And like, even before you even pour it in the glass, you can like smell like that. It's almost like with that aged pale, like that kind of medicinal flavor, that medicinal smell that we were getting earlier. Yeah. That's kind of the same, aroma that you're going to get. It's that real kind of, it's like papery,
Definitely, I could see that.
Yeah. Makes
sense.
I was thinking of going to Yo Fashion after this. I don't know if I'm going to make it with this one.
And we got one more.
I know. So if you're so, I may have to call an Uber.
Yeah. I mean, you can walk. It's like right there. You could walk right there. You could ride your skateboard.
I could.
Get some skating in.
Yeah.
It is kind of wet outside, though.
Yeah, that's true, too.
It's not the best situation.
It could make for a good YouTube video.
Plus, if I've been drinking, skateboarding is very difficult. Keeping your balance.
Yeah, that's true.
Pedaling.
After drinking, keeping my balance is kind of difficult anyway.
Right? Yeah, exactly. You just want to fall over.
Yeah.
So I think we've mentioned this before, but we had I lived in Alaska for 6.5 years, so every...
When?
Every November or December, they had the Great American Barley Wine Festival up there at a place called the Great Glacier Brew House.
Yeah.
This fucking thing.
I don't think we have.
I would almost go back every year just to go to that festival if I had the money for the plane ticket, but...
The beer advocate guys, I don't know if they still do it, but they did a beer festival up in Boston called the Extreme Beer Fest, and I want to say that the minimum ABV was like 12%.
Yeah, that's probably with this one.
And absolutely with barley wines. But even some of the quote unquote lighter barley wines I have that clock in at like 9.5%. Yeah. They're always just it's just a beast of a beer. It's a beast of a style. I love it. I love the complexity of them.
Okay, so let me ask you this:
mm-hmm.
My all-time favorite beer is it's between two, and I can't decide.
Mm-hmm.
First one I'm going to say is the Abider by Edmund Zost, which is an adjunct barley wine.
I've seen that in cans. That was a one-off.
Okay, so that's what I'm afraid of. I think both the ones that I really like are
of course, and now you're not going to be able to get them.
It's that one and There's Nothing Better Than a Pair of Camp Pants.
That was a one-off too, yeah.
So that was a collaboration with Westbrook.
Yeah.
Fuck, they're both one-offs. I can never get those.
Man, look around. You might be able to. Those are
They.
I want to say
oh
those
my
are pretty
God.
expensive cans, so they might.
Those
But
blew
then again, I mean,
my mind.
those
when it comes
guys
to
are
beer.
just making lights out beer down there, and
Oh
that
my
stuff is just flying off the shelves anywhere I see it.
It's phenomenal.
Yeah, they're
and their
doing
kegs
really,
are
really
fairly
good things.
affordable. Like they're not like overly
Ah.
expensive, and it's mind blowing. It's phenomenal. I had the pleasure of meeting the actual head brewer.
Cam,
Yeah,
Cam's a good dude.
he is. He's
Yeah.
really nice.
Yeah,
Like he bought a lot of people beer when he came. We had a tap takeover when I was working at Lowe's Foods.
nice.
Oh, it was great. He was very friendly. Talked to anyone that walked up, and
He
Yeah.
the one thing I really like about Cam is that he's really big into doing like these old school styles. You know, like every once in a while, like even when he was still at Edmonds Oast, just the restaurant before they opened the brewing company, like he and Brandon Plyler, which has worked for Charleston Beer Exchange and now Edmonds Oast Exchange, and he's, I mean, in my mind, the end all be all as far as beer knowledge in the Southeast. I mean, the guy's he's amazing. But even when Cam was just still working at the restaurant, and he and Plyler used to get together, and they would come up to House of Brews, and Plyler had this old book that was nothing but all these old British brewery recipes, and they would sit there and kind of like go back and forth and try to figure stuff out, and then a couple of weeks later they'd have like this old school British ale, like a sparkling ale or whatever. Like they did a couple of different ESBs. And it was just really cool because it was almost like you were tasting history. And you knew that these guys were basically, showing as much love and respect to these old school recipes as they could.
Wow.
And trying to pull them off as pure form. And it was, I mean, it was almost like you're like, wow, I'm pretty much drinking something that should be a dead style.
Yeah.
It
I
was
did not
really,
know
really
that.
neat.
That
Yeah.
adds so much more to
Yeah.
the actual beer.
It's so funny that you mentioned that too, because we were just talking at the brewery the other night, whatever night I worked, I can't remember now, last Friday I think, and we were talking about, way off the craft beer subject, we were talking about Budweiser and Coors and those type things, and that how consistent those breweries are, that the stuff that we're drinking today is probably almost 100% similar in taste to what our grandfathers were drinking, great grandfathers were drinking, and that maybe some of those yeast strains are even the same yeast that they were using back then. That it's how consistent those guys are is just phenomenal.
Yeah, I mean, they probably are replicating and keeping strains of yeast. I mean, yeast is only good for so many strains until it finally dies out and you have to replace it. Did we go dead?
We went dead, yeah.
Wow, did you hear that?
I did.
Oh, all right. Just in case you didn't, you obviously did not hear this on the actual microphones. But so we're all like talking, or Chris was talking, and all of a sudden we heard this. It was like a Jetsons, like.
Yeah.
Well, like when you cut your TV off. So our amplifier just died on our headphones, which means we have no sound in our headphones. We're going raw right now.
Yeah.
Oh, sweet. So we're still going. That's
Oh yeah, we're still
we're
going.
still going, yeah.
We
Oh,
just
that's
can't hear
awesome.
ourselves.
Just this board runs off a 9-volt battery, and that battery just died. So.
Yeah, it saps the energy out of it. It probably has to do with the fact that we're using a splitter and extension lines to the actual headphones. So it is what it is.
Cool.
Oh shit, where was I?
Good new sound here.
Yeah, sorry man, I
Yeah.
totally snowbombed you.
No, I was talking about Coors and yeast strains.
Yeah,
and-
Yeah.
the consistency.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at it like, I mean, Anheuser-Busch, you wouldn't believe it, but I mean, they've got a couple of top-notch cicerones that work for them, and
Wow,
they
really?
have guys that, Anheuser-Busch has a couple of different olfactory guys that these guys are getting paid tons just to smell beer because they can pick up like those subtle nuances. These are guys that, these are the same people that are, testing perfumes and stuff like that.
Right.
And they can pick up whether or not if a certain batch, if something's off, what can we do to improve it? Because I mean, obviously they're not dumping beer, and they have the wherewithal to fix it.
That was the exact word I was thinking of.
Nice. But yeah, I mean that's you should see. I mean the labs that they have at those big breweries, it's incredible. And I know you guys were just up at Sierra Nevada. Did y'all do the tour?
No, but we walked around the
Yeah,
entire
we walked
complex.
You kinda do the-
production thing, the self-guided tour.
man.
Okay, yeah. Did you see the lab that they have?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
I want it. I don't even brew when I want it.
It's ridiculous, man. And I mean, I love that. There are a lot of breweries now are really putting the money into doing labs, and I mean, you have to. You got to be able to make sure that your beer's right. It's so competitive now.
Sorry, we were talking to Oak Road, or was it Joey from Frothy? They were talking about we don't have the money to do the lab test and do this and whatever.
It's an investment.
Oh, it's a huge
investment. We talked
investment.
about the lab stuff before, and they said that's how they have a hard time keeping things consistent and whatever because they don't have these lab test facilities to kind of test everything and make sure they're on point every single time.
Yeah,
it's all in the fine details, and not even like when it comes to lab, for them at least, for brewing wise. Like if you're looking just at beer, like that's how you get your fine details, is looking at like lab specifics.
Yeah, and a lot of the times, if you're pulling samples and you're running tests in the early stages of fermentation, if anything's going wrong, I mean, these guys are smart enough that they know, okay, this is wrong. This is what I have to do to fix it, to not dump this beer, and they can fix it. You know? And it's, I mean, why not spend the money and the time to, I mean, you've already got it sitting in the vat there. You already got it sitting in a fermenter.
Right.
It's going to be there for.
We just talked about with a 60-barrel system. You don't want to dump 60 barrels.
Oh, hell no, man. I mean,
No.
if you think about it this way, even if you're dumping just the raw materials that go into let's say a 30-barrel system, raw materials that go into a 30-barrel system, and then by the time you add your yeast and you do a dry hop, and then all of a sudden it's time for you to move things over, and you could tell that it's just spoiled beyond saving. That's $1,000 at least down the batch, and that's just your grain and your water. That's not including the real estate that it was in the tank and your man hours.
Oh
and,
God.
Yeah, I mean,
Just down the drain.
down the drain. I mean,
Literally.
Yeah.
So you're saying basically you can catch that with a lab setup, like you can be able to look at.
Yeah, and you can
maybe
identify.
not that far along, right?
Yeah, you want to. I mean, you're pulling samples when you're still mashing in, and when you're doing your boil and everything. You're pulling all of that to make sure that everything's right before you even transfer it in.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I mean, once you get it in the tank, you're sealed airtight, and you're good to go.
Okay.
But I mean, things will. I mean, you never know what's going to go wrong.
But you're saying like, at least you'll know before you put it in the tank what you need to tweak beforehand, so that you're not going to end up with a whole entire 60-gallon batch
Batch crap.
of crap. Yeah,
Yep.
exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I mean that makes sense. That
That's
seems
right.
like
I mean,
such
all those
a.
breweries, they have a little sight glass. If it's not coming out at the right color that they're used to, automatically that's a red flag.
Yeah.
And I've heard that several times. Actually, I think Brian's the one who talked about that. He couldn't get the color right for a certain beer, and that bothered him. I'm like, well, the flavor is right. Why does the color matter so much? But I guess if you're judging a lot of
color
it.
is the flavor.
Yeah, so I guess it kind of goes hand in hand, in an odd situation.
Yeah, I mean, with a lot of those, your specialty grain that you're adding in because it's been roasted for a certain period at, different temperatures and whatnot to get those different roastiness or bitterness qualities out of the grain. I mean, those grain, using certain percentages of certain grains, it's going to give you a certain color. If you look at, I want to say in the early batches of the Carolina Evening, we were using the only dark malt that was in the beer. It was only like 3% of the recipe. Everything else was, a majority of all recipes are going to be either Pilsner, pale malts.
Yeah, but
so we're going to give it that straw color.
Let's have a comparative percentage.
Mm-hmm.
When you say 3%, what's like a normal? What's comparatively? Why is 3% such a shock value?
It's such a low number, and you think about how dark that beer is.
It is dark.
Yeah, and to think that it's. I mean, if you
Did that
look
come
at
from
it,
the coffee. I mean, did you get more color from the coffee this year?
well, I mean, you are going to get a little bit of the color from the coffee, but even, any stout that I've ever made, you're still not adding a whole hell of a lot of.
Chocolate malt.
Yeah, chocolate malt or any type of specialty like dark roasted malt to that. Otherwise, it'll just be, almost too bitter to drink. From the degree that you're roasting those malts.
Yeah.
But even your standard stout recipe. I'm trying to think of some of the stouts I've done in the past, and I've never used any more than like 10%. It's amazing. It's the same thing we were talking about with you know, a little goes a long way. You know, with the beet beer earlier.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You know, it's like I guarantee you, what you taste in that beer, you probably think that they put 1,000 pounds of beets in there, but it probably doesn't. It doesn't take a whole lot.
Right.
What a risk! What a gamble! You know, because at that point you can't. By the time you add the beets or whatever, you're at the end, right? You can't just like take away beet flavor. Like
No,
you dumped in what you dumped in, and you're gonna get what you get out of it, right?
Yeah.
And that's okay.
Yeah, it's like you don't want to go too little, because all it's going to really do is make it, you know, affect the color a little bit.
And how often does that probably happen? Like it's bombs. Like I wonder if they like Tradesman's going to have the 60-barrel system. I wonder if they're going to have a smaller system to test out recipes. Like do most breweries do that?
They still have that.
Stuff like that. They wouldn't do a full 60 barrel on that.
Yeah, no, because you could do a half batch on that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
You could use the same system for like a half batch. Doesn't take anything away from it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I mean, if you think about it, all that is basically just a big old boiling pot.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, when I had to actually think about it, because none of this is familiar for me. Like we probably should have gone through the entire tour while we were there. Honestly.
Well, that thing's booked out like months in advance too.
No.
I don't think we could have done it that day.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh wow. Well, shit. Never mind.
Yeah, I did it a couple of months ago.
So you've been to Sierra Nevada?
Yeah, I was up there for the first time end of February. Another segue in, you know, about to open House of Brews 2 and partner with Rob.
We've got to talk about that.
Yeah, we'll get into that right after the Sierra Nevada. But I did a R&D and went up there, and I mean, I've always been a huge Sierra Nevada fanboy. I mean, it's still to this day my favorite brewery. It's like if you're stranded on a desert island with one beer, Sierra Nevada Green Label Pale Ale all day.
We got some in the fridge downstairs. We can have one.
Oh man, don't tell me that. I'm gonna drink all of them.
You're our guest.
Perfect. I'm
you
gonna
can
drink all
Brian's beer.
So went up there to do some R&D and just to kind of check out the scene. And it was the first time that I'd been, and I mean, they've been open for a couple of years, but man, you roll up there and it's like an amusement park. Like I felt like I was going to Disney World, because you go through the gate and you hear the angels singing.
Disney World or Willy Wonka Factory?
Actually, you know what it reminded me of? It reminded me of Busch Gardens. You know, it was kind of like that.
Oh, okay.
You know, like kind of halfway amusement park, halfway, you know, nature trail. And
yeah.
Oh, now that I say that, because Busch Gardens has the Anheuser-Busch tie-in, that's probably not the best. Shit.
We don't give it. We talk about craft beer, but fuck it, we'll talk about whatever beer.
Oh yeah.
We'll talk about what will eventually give us money.
Yeah, whoever gives us money, we'll talk about that shit.
Yeah.
No, we're not gonna sell them, Bev. Maybe we will.
I would be the guy that was our brewery and immediately sell.
Dude, then you could get a Mick Ultra tattoo.
I will if you pay me. I will. Pay me money. I'll put it right here.
You guys heard it here first.
Prime real estate for
Oh,
your
he's
ad
pointing
space.
right on the left forearm. The big
Look at
old
all this
Mick
space.
Ultra.
Look at all this space.
That script would look so sweet right there too.
It would. InBev. Drink Michelob Ultra.
Yeah. So.
It'd be ironic. Sorry.
Oh no, you're good.
Rice House Edge.
Yeah.
Oh, no, I can't do that.
God.
That's Michelob, though, right? Or is that Miller? Who's Ice House?
It doesn't
Miller
matter.
Brewing Company.
Doesn't
So
matter, yeah.
you went to Sierra Nevada.
Went there, checked it out. Was just, I mean, my mind was blown. That place is amazing.
Mm-hmm.
The food was great. We booked in enough time to where I got to like do the 60-minute guided tour, and it's totally worth it, man. If you're planning on going to Asheville, like plan a month out, and as soon as you book your Airbnb or whatever you staying up there, like you should probably book the Sierra Nevada tour and then plan your vacation around that. But it was fantastic. Like they lead you in the hop room. Like they put you down in there, you grab hops and you have to rub them in your hands and smell them. And it's like, hey, all right, you're in the hop room now. It's all refrigerated. And it's like, you just walk around to one of the bins and pick whatever hop. And there's like big plastic, like hotel laundry bin, Chinook, right next to it. Centennial, right next to that. Cascade, right next to that. Citra.
The Seven Seas we're working on right here. The Seven Seas.
Yeah, Chinook, Cascade, Citra, Centennial, all the hops, But it's like everything that Sierra Nevada does is it's like all their hops are right there, and it's all fresh whole cone hops, and they tell you.
So it's not even pellets. It's like the flour.
Oh yeah, it's
Oh,
I mean they're pressed,
wow.
they're flaked like pressed pellets. So
Okay.
but still, you reach over and you grab a hop cone. right out of a bin, and then everybody meets in the middle of the room, and they're like, all right, now smack your hands together, and like really, and then you gotta do all this to break it up, and they're like, all right, now really get in there and smell it, and you're just like, oh my God, I wish I could drink this right now.
That's amazing.
That does sound
I have to
good.
do that.
Yeah, go. It's a 60-minute tour. It's still free. All you got to do is sign up on the website and give them, your email address, and they.
Oh, it's free?
Yeah. Free tour, and you get beer at the end, which is even better.
That's what those guys were doing at the bar. There's
Well,
a
I knew
little
that
bar
much,
at
but I didn't
the
think it
end.
was
Go
free.
off that bar.
There's
I'm
the
not
bar
gonna
right
lie
at
to
the
you.
top.
I
Yeah.
expected it to be like $60. That's what
No,
I
it
was
was free.
planning for. It's
$3.99.
free. Wow. I mean, they have a 5-star restaurant, in my opinion. That thing was fancy. The food was
The
delicious.
food's amazing.
We had some pickled vegetables that just
Oh, those were
blew our mind.
Yeah.
And we sat in like 4 different spots the entire time we were there.
Who
And
was fun.
every single spot felt totally different, but yet very welcoming, very warm. The whole design of the building was just, it is a phenomenal spot.
Yeah, they did it right. They really, really did. And I mean, it's nice to know that that's what, 3.5, 4 hours away, tops.
Right.
I mean, that's our mountain getaway, really.
I used to be the same,
385.
I live in Vegas, and I could go the same distance, about 3.5 hours, maybe 4, to a Stone Brewing Company out in Escondido, California. Very similar feel to Sierra Nevada, maybe even a more welcoming, but similar type acreage and theme type thing. But I felt like it felt a little more homey, not quite as what's the word I'm looking for?
Commercial?
Braggy, commercial, maybe.
Warm? No, not
Yeah,
warm.
I don't know,
Maybe
it just
air-
felt more warm.
Kind of arrogant, because that
Maybe.
kind of is the whole Stone
Yeah.
kind of thing.
But Stone was a little more welcoming, I thought.
No,
a little
he said
more
the
warm.
opposite.
Yeah,
He
the
said
opposite. I
Sierra
thought
was
Stone
arrogant.
warmer, a
Really?
little more inviting, a little more family. I don't know. It just it had a different feel to it. Maybe it's just because it's California versus East Coast, West Coast versus East Coast thing. But
Yeah, you were saying
Both of
family made me not want to go there.
not really family, I guess. But
If I got to deal
They
with
both-
kids, I'm out.
they both are amazing. But I think I give Stone a tad bit more.
That's not fair to you to throw out because we haven't been to both.
I know. So now you have to go. You have
Yeah.
to go there.
Oh, fuck you, man. That's expensive.
And I haven't been to the original Sierra Nevada. I like to see what the original one looks like compared to this one.
Yeah.
True.
But
True. It was a hell of a complex. I don't know of any other brewery on the East Coast that has done the same thing.
I've yet to see anything on the East Coast that's like that.
Yeah.
While I was up there,
Well, I
we
know
did.
Stone's supposed to be coming to Virginia, right?
Yeah, they're in Richmond now.
They are there.
Don't go. I don't think that facility's open.
Yeah.
But I know that. I mean, that was the whole thing between for the Stone Law here. That was trying to get them here, and that was what 3-4 years ago now.
Yeah.
Man, if we
It
had
was
a
sad day when they
complex,
said they chose Virginia. But
I'll be honest. The day that it came down, I knew it wasn't going to happen, and it's the main reason from, being a musician and working in live music venues for years. It was always tough to get bands to pass through here because, if you're shooting right down I-95, you can hit Richmond, you can hit DC, you can hit Raleigh, but then if you want to do Charleston, you got to take 26, and then that puts you. Hour and a half, 2 hours out, and then you got to backtrack. So it's not exactly a straight shot as far as for touring bands that are concerned.
right?
And then if you look at the logistics of it, as far as a massive brewery like that is concerned, if they would have built a facility in Charleston, you've got essentially one way in, one way out. You're not going to send 18 wheelers up and down 17. I mean, you will to Myrtle Beach,
right.
but. Other than that, I mean, you got to send everything up 26, and
That's a good point.
that's huge. And it's one of the infrastructure Charleston problems that we've been talking about in Charleston for ages now. And I knew, I was like, hey guys, yeah, I'm gonna help. I'm gonna do everything I can. But Stone was a long shot. And
Okay,
it really
so
was. But it definitely opened up a lot of avenues, and it definitely got people thinking and really focused on it, because Arrogant Bastards is one of those old beers that, that was another one of those gateway beers. Stone IPA is another gateway beer. And the people got interested. They're like, oh, I'm familiar with Stone. Oh, hell yeah, I want to have a Stone brewery. Yeah, I'm going to support craft beer. And guess what didn't happen? We didn't get Stone. But guess what happened on top of that? We got 15 other breweries here in town.
Yeah.
And we got a top tier, high quality beer that's coming out of this town.
I would say that's better.
Quite
actually.
a few. They got Oscar Blues, New Belgium, Sierra Nevada.
Yeah.
All those guys.
Quite a few. 44 breweries is quite a few. I'd say so.
Yeah. Shit, we're at 27.
No, I think we're over 30.
We're getting close with brewers in planning and
it's somewhere around there.
Yeah.
In the ballpark.
Yeah. It's a lot.
And they are open. Richmond, Virginia. Stone Brewing Company.
Same kind of is it a big complex?
No,
I'm just saying,
it doesn't look the same.
If you're looking at a big complex,
So basically, they just built a production facility.
Yeah.
That's
We still got
that's
bistros
lame.
and gardens and all that kind of stuff.
Okay.
Yeah. Actually, let's take that idea. So what about is the St. George Ridgeville area? Do you think, because there's plenty of land for that kind of complex there,
Yeah.
and it's kind of in between Charleston and other locations like Savannah that you can hit. I think that might be a decent area to start off that kind of Disney World, Charlie and Chocolate Factory style beer.
But you'd have to put a lot in around it there. And
You'd
that
have
would,
to get the clientele.
and it would make it a destination.
It would. I feel like Sierra Nevada's, no, because right outside of Asheville. So
You're right outside of Asheville.
Damn, you're right. That's a good point.
If honestly, I can't even think of an area where you could put something big like that and still have the road infrastructure and the logistics to pull it off, to get your beer out. You're dealing with a time sensitive product in beer, and you also have a product that's extremely sensitive to heat, and it's hot as shit here. Even running refrigerated trucks, man, that's a lot of money.
You ready?
Well, not if you're just going to give up and actually pull it out. Let's see
We're
what
talking
you got,
about
Brian.
beers.
No, we're not.
Well, since we're talking about Sierra Nevada, we're going to do a Sierra Nevada trip to the woods.
Oh, wow.
We're drinking this now? This is what we're drinking at all?
Yeah, that's what we're drinking right now.
I thought we were going to drink this on our own. So you're lucky.
That looks awesome.
We got this when we were up there visiting.
Nice.
It's barrel-aged raspberry barley wine.
Very
Raspberry
excited.
Bigfoot.
Yeah, Bigfoot, exactly. Let's see, trip to the woods. Doesn't say anything about this, really. Doesn't even listen. The ABV on Untapped.
How dare they?
I'm probably going to say about 12.6. It's probably on the label. They kind of vary. So Bigfoot's
9.9 actually.
that's not bad.
Wow.
Bigfoot's a cool beer because Sierra Nevada uses, they call it their Chico ale yeast. And it's what they use for their green label.
Chico, California.
Yeah. It's a yeast strain that obviously they own the rights to it. Whether or not they originally developed it, I'm not real sure. So Bigfoot is actually fermented with that same Chico ale yeast that they do regular Sierra Nevada Pale Ale with, which is interesting. Bigfoot is also done via open fermentation.
Really?
Yep.
I did not.
Did you see in their restaurant? They've got the open fermentation vats right there.
Did not pay attention that much.
Oh yeah, they have some big old stainless steel, big square tanks right in the front.
It was funny. We went there for lunch.
Mm-hmm.
We're like, we'll have lunch and a beer, and then it was 3 beers later.
Yeah, that's what happened to us
At
when we
least
went up
3,
too.
Yeah, but the food was good too. It was worth it. You really can't go for just one.
It was amazing.
You've got to go for multiples. So I'm very excited for this because we got this in the little gift shop that we went to.
Yeah.
I'm glad we can share this.
You bought one too, didn't you? Didn't you get some?
I did, but we're saving that for a later episode.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So you want that?
Yeah, let me say that one more time. So pretty. All right.
Yeah, this looks fantastic.
Yeah, let's cheers again.
Cheers.
I like that. Cheers to all the educational things going on right
Oh
now.
yeah, man. Cheers.
I feel so smart now.
It's the beer.
Right, it definitely is. Making me smarter. Drink more beer.
Wow, for a barley wine. It's refreshing. You get that little tart raspberry.
Oh man.
You can really smell the raspberry.
Raspberry's huge, but as soon as you
Totally different than that 120.
Yeah.
Which is, not considered a barley wine, but it definitely is.
Oh my
Ale aged in
god.
barrels with raspberries added.
What type of
That's
barrels
what
were
this
used
is.
on this?
Oh my god. I literally just made a molten lava cake, raspberry chocolate. Like, you break it open and it oozes out raspberry. And this tastes almost identical on a beer front. Like, the raspberry is there, but it's also overlaying the dark body, like, sweet malts and what you would get from a classic barley wine. It is so good.
Yeah.
Each beer has matured in a wooden cask originally used to age mellow spirits. It's interesting. Like, I get a little bit of barrel, like I get a little bit of oak on it, but
Yeah, I need to go back up and get one and age it because this is brand new. I mean, it's only got 14 check-ins.
Oh, wow.
And this guy says, for me, best trip in the woods to date. That's what this guy says.
Wow.
Not overly berried or woody, a mellowed version of Bigfoot, hints of vanilla.
Can you not get it here?
You probably could.
Yeah, I know a lot of the Trip in the Woods beers, they do get distro.
Do you think Total Wine would have it?
Yeah, there's a good
bet,
chance.
probably,
Yeah, Total Wine, you probably definitely find it at Bill's as well. I know they do quite a bit with the Trip in the Woods.
I mean, you can drive 45 minutes and buy it, or you can take a whole day trip and drive 4 hours.
I'd rather go up there and get it.
There you go.
And it wasn't expensive. I mean,
see, the
pretty
weird
common
thing-
for that size bottle.
Yeah,
$20
you know,
bucks.
the one thing I noticed about all the every brewery that I went to up there, the beers on tap, everything ranged, is usually about $5-6 a pour, which was nice. But like Sierra Nevada and let's see, Burial, Highwire, New Belgium, all those places, like they're the bottles that they had for off premise. They were, I mean, it was cheap.
Yeah.
It was really cheap, like much cheaper than, anywhere else that I've seen. Any part of the country that I've gone to visit breweries. I always feel like, what you pay at Total Wine is say, if you pick that up at Total Wine for let's say $20, I feel like I've been to places where you go to the brewery and it's $20, whereas in Asheville, $12.
Yeah.
Yeah, we also walked into at New Belgium. They had a sale on a couple of their old vintages of La Folie for $9.99 a bottle. Nice. That was ridiculous.
Yeah,
wow,
that's good.
Yeah,
That
that was bad.
Top 10 probably as well.
I don't think I've had that one.
Yeah, sour brown ale.
Yeah,
It's done in their
wow.
fillers out in at their Colorado facility, but it is, it's really
Sounds
really good.
amazing. So you can only buy these cold. If you're aging it, you're gonna age it in like a closet or a pantry or something.
Dark closet somewhere.
Does it matter that you get it cold and then you age it warm? Wouldn't it be preferable to get it warm and age it warm?
Well, yeah, I mean,
And
beer's coming out
I
of
would
the
say
tanks
to keep
cold,
it
so
consistent.
yeah, keep it consistent, keep it cold.
So
Like
you-
up at Coast, we keep all of our beer refrigerated.
So you can age it in a refrigerator.
To a certain temperature. Otherwise, you're going to kind of stop that aging process because it's stayed chilled. And that's why they say a beer cellar. I mean, most wine cellars and everything, you want to keep it cellared about 55 degrees.
Oh, I did not
So-
know
I was
that.
saying, I was just guessing, but 55.
I
Yeah,
literally had
55.
no idea.
So that's why, I mean, obviously in South Carolina, nobody has a basement here. Well, not in Charleston or
think
the
some
outlying
people-
areas. Yeah, basically you have an underground swimming pool.
Mm-hmm.
But if you keep it cellared around 55 degrees, that's when you are going to start noticing a lot of those changes. In most beer, you want to consume, even if you're cellaring it, within 5 to 10 years.
Okay.
Yeah. That's just me personally, but then again, I've only been
there probably
really
is a point
storing
where
and
it-
cellaring
where it
beers for
falls
about a
off, right?
decade.
There's got to be a point where it gives up and says, okay, I'm done.
Oh yeah, and I mean, I've even had beers like batched out of the same batch that were barrel aged, and sometimes those oxygenated caps, they don't fix right.
Yeah.
And I've had some beers that have tasted amazing, and then tried the same beer a couple of weeks later or months later, and that cap wasn't sealed right, and the beer tasted like rust.
Yeah.
So
It really is a gamble, but it's no different than if you're putting money into a wine cellar.
Oh, we opened one during the relay, and I can't remember what Mike Stafford brought. He's part of our Beer Underground, Somerville Underground group.
Yeah.
He brought, God damn it, what the fuck did he bring? It was like 2010 or something. It was an old goddamn bottle. And
Wow.
it tasted like soy sauce.
Oh.
I can't remember what the hell it was. for the life of me right now.
Oh, with beer? Oh, God.
We had some type of it was some old British ale that sat on the shelves at House of Brews. It was a '06, like it was an old vintage that Rob had gotten in like when he first opened in 2011. And it sat back there, and finally one night we're like, all right, fuck it, let's just open this thing up and see what it's like. And it was the first beer. Actually, I take that back. It was the second beer. My first beer being my first homebrew, because that was disgusting. That almost made me give up on homebrewing altogether. But this thing, I think there was a group of about 5 or 6 of us that opened this up, and I want to say like 3 or 4 of us ended up dry heaving. Like, it was disgusting. It got to the point where it was no longer beer, and it had become like balsamic vinegar.
Yeah,
and not even good balsamic.
We didn't dry heave. We actually drank it and just decided we're just going to accept it for what it was. And I do remember it was Sam Adams, but I don't remember what the beer was. But it was definitely Sam Adams beer. It was this 12-ounce bottle. Ooh. It was the soy sauce all the way.
What are we talking about?
Soy sauce.
This beer is so
You're
good.
talking about barrel aging and aging of beers. But that's the great thing about it, though.
I was being sarcastic.
You do what they call a vertical, and we've talked about this before too, where you have a 2012, a 2013, 14, 15. You just taste them all back to back. Do that a lot with the Abyss and with Old Rasputin.
Bigfoot.
Yeah, Bigfoot is another big one.
I did that just the other week with the Somerville Underground.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I did see that someone did a bunch of different Bigfoots. Yep. Yeah, I'm a member of that group, but living in West Ashley, it's like, ooh, that's a long night on a Monday for me to come up and.
It is, because I mean, they used to be big, like 15, 16 people, and you're talking from 6 o'clock to 9 plus.
It's like less than 10 now.
Hardcore beers.
Yeah, and a lot of stuff that people bring to shares like that, they're not measly beers. Like, you're not gonna find hey, check out this 5.5% Pilsner.
Yeah,
you know,
everybody's going big.
Yeah,
we need to do that here.
Well, I know Mike Karka's talking about doing it in his garage since he put the Gray's Bar in there from the
Let's do a
location.
He's talking about doing some tastings there.
Remote podcast. We'll have like one camera or mic set up. We'll just sit and chat and drink and film the whole thing.
That's gonna get ugly quick.
I am already making more work for myself.
Yeah, you are. You like doing that, don't you?
I do that when I drink a lot. I get excited about the future. It's a good time, I think. Mike keeps posting all the pictures of his bar, and it looks so awesome. I want to be there. Like, the moment he started posting pictures, I'm like, I want to do a remote podcast there. It just looks great.
I mean, it must have had so much lacquer. I don't know how it survived. How did it survive the fire?
I think it was far enough front that because the fire happened in the kitchen that they were able to kind of catch it. And the guys that are the contractors that are doing the new House of Brews, they are the guys that built that bar. And when they found out that Michael was able to salvage it, they were ecstatic.
Oh, I bet. That's
they were so happy. Yeah.
Our bars even survive a fire.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Well, that was a great looking bar, too.
Yeah.
I love that bar, yeah.
Resalvage, still bar.
You should bring it out to the event.
But that would be...
bring your bar out.
Oh, my God. That would be such a good idea, I think, you know. I mean, if... homegrown's for sale, which I think kind of maybe plays into... maybe the underground dying a little bit. You know, there's less enthusiasm for a place that's trying to hit up another owner, I think. For me, at least, you know. Maybe I'm the only one.
No, that's some of it for sure.
Okay. Well, okay. Thanks for the reassurance at the very end. That was great.
Yeah.
I don't know. But maybe it just... I don't know what happened. I was never a part of the underground in the very beginning, so I don't really know how it dissipated. I don't know what happened there. So I'm just trying to think of...
People just got busy, and there's so much more to do
that's not
on a Monday night.
I think the hardest thing for me was that it was always on a Monday night. But I can understand that's a night where, obviously he's open on Mondays. I know for a while he wasn't open on Mondays.
Beers to us on a Monday versus
absolutely. I mean, you're definitely not going to do that on Friday or Saturday. You know, I was doing blind tastings for a while for a group of guys that were studying for the Cicerone. And we would do them. At first, I was like, let's do them on Sunday night and see how that goes. But I get that whole Sunday Fun Day crew, and it's like, well, shit, now I can't really pay attention. And I was like, all right, I'll start doing it on Monday nights. And I guess it was kind of the same thing. But then again, I was doing it like every Monday night.
Ooh.
And it was like the faithful kind of fell off. But at the same time, this was a group of guys that were like, okay, here's the date for the next Cicerone. Like, we have to do this. And we need someone that's going to, kind of try out some tried and true styles.
Yeah.
But Mondays, it's tough. It's like, damned if you do, damned if you don't. You'd have a great turnout if you did it on a Friday or Saturday, but you're cutting in. I mean, it's impossible.
Well, I feel like it's appealing to someone in my personality that you're not going to a bar where there's going to be the chance of other people showing up. You're going to someone's, like Mike Harcourt's bar, like in his garage.
Oh, in his garage,
that you're not going to hit
different
like
story.
a whole bunch of unexpected people. You're literally just meeting the people of the underground. I think that's so appealing.
Yeah.
You're not going to have like the random people in the background talking about fucking bullshit that you don't care about while you're trying to focus on listening to this style of beer and focus on a conversation with your friends, and maybe you're not all at the bar so you can kind of converse better. To me, it's more appealing not in a commercial situation.
A nice lounge setting.
Yeah.
Around a table like this or something, instead of sitting at the bar stools, lined up where
Because you're not.
I'm here and number 16 guys way down here. We can't even talk to each other.
You can't.
Yeah.
And not
You
only
sit
that,
around in little
I mean,
groups.
if you're sitting at a bar and you're doing that, I mean, you're looking forward. No one's looking at each other. I mean, it's almost like a round table kind of situation.
Yeah.
Guys that make beer, the first time they try beer, I guarantee you they're not going and sitting at their tasting room and just staring at the taps.
You might have just said the most important thing ever is a round table situation. We need to set it up where it's a giant fucking round table. And we all sit around this round table. You can, like you said, you can look at each other and have a conversation.
You could have a rectangle table. Just pull this out from the wall, absolutely. I mean, and the one thing that I've learned about beer over the years is that it's completely subjective. It's all about what you like and what you don't like. And we all see those people, and god damn it, I used to see it on Untapped all the time, and it still drives me nuts.
Lay it on us.
You make an awesome beer, and it's something that you take a lot of pride in. And for me, it was the Vienna Lager at Oak Road. Like, Vienna Lager has always been one of my favorite styles. Mm-hmm. I love it because it's an easy drinking beer, but it has a great body, great mouthfeel. They're fantastic. Devil's Backbone Vienna Lager is one of my all-time favorites before they sold out to Anheuser-Busch. I still consider Yingling to be a great example of an adjunct Vienna Lager. But like, I took a lot of pride in that beer, and it came out and it was great. We loved it, and I still love it. But then you'd look on Untapped and you'd see someone that's like, 1 star. I generally don't like this style, but they do a good job of it.
Yeah.
Then why in the fuck did you leave a review?
Yeah.
It's no different than, I don't like seafood, so I'm going to go to this seafood restaurant and I'm going to leave a bullshit review because I don't like seafood. Is that their fault? No.
Yeah.
But with beer, it's so subjective. And I think that, like, when you sit anywhere, and the one thing I always loved about House of Brews is that there's only 4 seats at that bar. You have to get a beer, and if you're lucky to sit there at the bar, you're gonna have conversation because there's only 3 other people sitting there. Right. Mm-hmm. Maybe 2 if you're a lard ass like me, because I take up 2 spots.
I've never gotten a seat at that bar.
Yeah,
really?
But I mean, you're gonna grab a beer, you're gonna go outside, or you're gonna go sit in the front, the patio area, and it's a bunch of tables, and it's one of those situations where it forces you to converse about beer because that's why you're there, and I'm not going to take away from Caleb, but you put TVs in there. But one thing I loved about Caleb for the longest time, I still love him for this. He was very anti-TV.
Yep.
In a situation like that where it should be that intimate, scenario of craft beer, hell yeah.
Okay, so let me.
But I mean,
hold on.
I don't want to take away from him getting.
You don't even notice the TVs in there.
No, and the funny thing is that
serious?
today I didn't even notice that there was a TV in there before you said something.
Really, I totally disagree. I mean, from working there so much, and I'd sit there all the fucking time. I totally see more people staring at TVs all the time.
Really?
I am far more cognizant about what's on the TV than ever before.
Man,
and I don't think it's a bad thing. I think that the environment there, no offense, Caleb, but it's a little awkward. It's quiet. It's uncomfortable. You got random music that people don't identify with. And then you have like random TVs with like random sports. And like, okay, well, fuck, I'm not. We're listening to old rock. That's cool. That's what my grandfather listened to. It's what my dad listened to. It's not what I listen to. It's not what I identify with. It doesn't put me in the mood to drink
there's always been a
craft
problem
beer.
with the music up there. I'll be honest with you. I mean, from a patron standpoint, I don't mind that much. I'll listen to whatever the fuck you want to put on, but
Right.
I've heard.
But you're being
people
complacent.
talk.
You're being complacent at the same time. Like, okay, I'll deal with it. But
I've
you don't
heard-
want to go to a place to drink beer and say like, okay, I'm going to deal with the atmosphere. You want to go there and be like, fuck.
Well,
I mean,
here's the thing.
This
There is-
atmosphere makes me want to drink more beer.
Here's
Don't
the
get me
thing.
wrong.
There's no consistent atmosphere there. Anytime
Bingo.
you go in there, it's a different atmosphere. Like if you go to Common House Airworks, you know you're going to hear some rockabilly type.
Yeah, it's going to be bluegrass,
focus type
Americana,
bluegrass
yeah.
music. You know what you're getting into. You're going to sit back in your rocking chair. You're going to deal with it. You're going to not deal with it, but you're going to enjoy it. You're
Yeah.
going to get into that mode.
Yeah.
There's no mode to get into at Homegrown Brew House.
You're on guard all the
Whoever's
time.
working has a little different style of music.
little
they're gonna
nothing.
Play.
It's
they're
a
gonna put on
totally
different things on
different
TV. It's a different experience every time you go in, which could be good in and of itself.
No, I disagree. Businesses rely on
They
consistency.
rely on consistency.
God
Right.
damn, what did I start?
No, that's true though, because people got to think this stuff through. If you're going to be a business owner, you need to know what's going to be successful.
Yeah.
Not that we're the experts.
Well, not so much that you need to be so cognizant of like what people want and need from you. I'm like, that's good. That's going to allow you to have a successful business. But consistency is so valuable. If
Right.
people know what they're going for, then they know when they can go to you.
And sometimes
If they-
as a business owner, you get blinders on. You say, hey,
Yeah.
this is what I want. But you're not the one paying the bills. Your customers are paying the bills. What do
Yeah.
your customers want? Sometimes there has to be a compromise there.
Fuck what you want, man. If it's really dicking you over and you're not being able to like pay your bills, then your opinion means shit. You should listen to your customers because
To an extent.
they're the ones that are going to help you pay for it. At least in the beginning, you have to do that. You got
In the
to.
beginning.
Yeah,
Well,
exactly.
once you have fuck you money, then you say fuck you.
Yeah, but I mean, you can't just immediately start a business and say fuck you because
Yeah, you better have a lot of fucking money behind you. Before you do that,
exactly.
though.
You're not gonna work. And you had some points to this, I think, because you said quote unquote, "Where do I start?"
Yeah.
And I would love to hear that. I mean, you've got a lot of.
I mean, you're getting ready to open your own business yourself. So
Yeah,
are.
yeah.
you
Listen,
gotta think
actually-
about these things.
What a great segue. Let's get
Great
into
segue.
that.
Yeah. So I've partnered with Rob Davis with House of Brews, and we're gonna open up a second House of Brews location in West Ashley. I've lived in West Ashley now for almost 20 years. My mom grew up in West Ashley, so it's always been home. I remember coming and visit. I mean, my dad was in the Air Force, so I was an Air Force brat, but my grandparents still live in the same house that we used to visit as kids. So West Ashley, especially way out in West Ashley, has always been home. And I've been talking about doing a craft beer bar out there for years. And the time was right. And, I had a little money to invest, and Rob had a little bit because he's a millionaire out there in Mount Pleasant. And
He needs more bug spray out there.
I don't know, man. I mean, we're close enough to the Ashley River where, there's some humdingers out there where we're at too.
Yeah.
But yeah, we spent a couple of months looking for a place because we kind of wanted to carry over the same kind of attitude and mentality of the Mount Pleasant store, which is no frills, laid back. Super cool watering hole. I worked for Rob over at his store for a little over 2 years, like I said earlier. And one of the coolest things that I ever heard, it was some dude that just randomly showed up. I think he was in town for a Brewvival a couple of years ago and came in like the night before. Thank you. And of course, never heard of the place or never been to the place. He'd heard about it, whether or not it was through Google or just word of mouth because he was, beer nerd coming to Charleston. But someone told him to check out House of Brews. This guy comes in and, he was feeling pretty righteous. And he just came to me and he was like, man, I feel like I'm at the coolest house party I've ever been to with the most kick-ass beer selection.
Yeah.
And it's totally true. It really is. I mean, it's you feel like you're at a house party with just anything that you would want as far as craft beer is concerned.
That's what a great atmosphere.
It's really cool. So Rob and I spent months trying to find a location in West Ashley to build House of Brews 2. And we wanted to find something standalone, and we wanted to find something with parking, which is damn near impossible in this town. But we found something. A little over 4 months.
I feel like that's not bad.
It really isn't. And the thing is that it's a spot that I kind of looked at, just driving by, and I was like, meh. And then the first time, when Rob called me and he was like, yo, you know where this address is? And as soon as he told me the street address, it's like, I kind of know where that is on Ashley River Road. And then I'm on the phone with him, and I put him on speakerphone, and I Google map it, and I was like, yep, I know exactly where that is. And as soon as it clicked, I was like, man, why didn't I just listen to my gut about that place a month ago? Yeah. But so 2376 Ashley River Road, in the heart of West Ashley, in between Sunflower Cafe and Pub on 61 and Easterby Seafood Restaurant.
I know exactly where it is.
Yeah, it used to be the old, it was a DNR Truck and Auto. It was a used car lot / U-Haul rental place. So the building's got some really, really awesome high ceilings because it was it's got a 2-bay mechanics bay. We're going to keep it all closed in. Going to do a little more focus on wine. So it'll be craft beer and wine. And got a huge area out back. There's a massive oak tree back there. We're going to put a deck out there. We've been talking about, there was a period of time where we were talking about building a shuffleboard court out there.
That's a great idea.
Oh,
it's very popular.
Like the barrel?
Yeah, like the barrel. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, doing the same thing. But it's a lot of real estate. And then they were like, let's do bocce.
Oh my God! If you did a bocce setup,
so we're gonna do a bocce setup.
That's my favorite.
We've already built a couple of cornhole boards, giant Jenga, of course. Yeah, and the good news is that where we're at there, with that prime real estate on Highway 61, we'll be able to do food trucks. So we're gonna do food trucks Wednesday through Sunday. Probably the Sunday truck will have more of an emphasis on being there during the brunch hours. Mm-hmm. Not necessarily a brunch truck, but catch that brunch crowd. And my tattooist, his wife is a yoga instructor, and she's actually approached me about doing yoga classes on probably going to be Monday nights.
Who?
So we'll do Jason Eisenberg, Holy City Tattoo.
Okay.
Yeah, so his wife Jessica.
Okay.
Jason and I were hanging out a couple of weeks ago, and I was filling him in on everything, and she was sitting right there, and she was just like, "Hey, come here, let's talk." And I think it's a great idea. I see how well that you see Frothy Beer doing their run club, and you've got Beth doing Bendy Brewski, and I definitely see. I love the fact that I love drinking beer. I don't look like I exercise, but I still play soccer twice a week, and I still run and everything. It's just
you got to maintain.
Yeah, I got to maintain. Yeah, this is a physique.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
It's sought after.
I'm sorry, ladies, my eyes are up here.
That's awesome.
But yeah, that whole active lifestyle. I love that craft beers really embrace that, and I feel like. I thought about the run club, but being on Highway 61, I might as well call it a roadkill club. So I feel like yoga might be the best thing to do.
I think that's great.
Yeah, let's stay off the roads. Yeah. I haven't done that one. My brother's done it a couple of times, the frothy beard one. He said it's definitely kind of sketchy.
But I want to. I think that's a great idea.
Yeah.
But what I was about to say, despite some of the people we've had on the podcast, we don't just talk supporting local. We actually follow through.
Mm-hmm.
And if you need help, building, setting up, painting, whatever it is, you let us know.
Oh, hell yeah.
Brian or I will be there. I'm going to speak for him in this situation,
Yeah, hell yeah, man. I love it, man.
We like to back up our word. We definitely like to...
we want people to help us. And
absolutely.
We want to spread that, push that forward and help other people that are getting started doing new things. Whatever,
absolutely. So. We definitely appreciate it. We love it. And, Yeah, I mean, podcast aside, I mean, I've known you guys for a couple of years now.
True.
And we've shared a couple of beers together. And, yeah, this is so awesome that you guys are doing this. This is great. And I love the fact that, you know.
We're loving it too.
Yeah, and I feel like, if anything, this is going to be the outlet in this area to get what all of us are trying to do out into the market. You know, I love that you guys had Joey on. You know, love that guy like a brother. You know, he's fucking amazing. You know,
It's a great
Awesome.
show.
Yeah.
Good conversation with you.
and he's actually one hell of a soccer player too, man.
Really?
You should see that kid on the field.
Fuck.
He can fucking move.
Dude, he whooped my ass in Mario Kart. I'm still mad
Oh
about
man,
it.
I do not
Still
play.
mad about it.
Dude, Joey and I, we were playing FIFA together online,
Oh, no.
as a team with headsets on. And it was me, Joey, and Steve, and it got way too fucking heated because it was the three of us as a team, and you know we all played, we all played fairly competitively, you know, all through high school and college. So you know, like the three of us, like, all right, do this, you know, move it back, reset, do this, and it was crazy.
I bet it
It got way too heated. So I can only imagine Joey with Mario Kart. Now,
I mean, granted, this was like after our episode, so I'm not going to give myself excuses because I thought I could perform under the influence of alcohol.
yeah, we've
but
all been there, and I'm not talking about Mario Kart.
Believe me, I've been there too. He just wiped the floor with me. It was nothing to him. I'm just having a good time. It's a light stroll in the afternoon.
It did seem pretty effortless to him. But
Yeah, it was effortless for me to fuck up and lose.
yeah. I mean, he was just like in his own.
He just killed it.
He was looking at it and like winking and stuff.
I should have filmed it, man. It was like an epic betrayal. I gotta have a challenge to redo him.
You shoulda.
Yeah.
Well, maybe we will. Maybe we will. Ooh.
What's this guy doing over there?
I'm taking video. I just remembered I haven't got any video while you guys have been doing this.
I mean, what time are we at?
Here.
You were the longest person that we've had in like the past 4 episodes.
Yeah.
And that's because I'm long-winded and I don't know how to shut up.
Well, that's great. I mean, that's good for us. We
That
like
works.
people who can keep talking.
Yeah.
And
Anytime.
it's felt more like a good conversation rather than an interview, in my
Right.
opinion.
So when do we expect this House of Brews West Ashland?
Well, with everything the way it's going right now, we're playing the hurry up and wait game. We're pretty much just, you know, one step closer and moving down the old bureaucratic conveyor belt. But we are shooting for our original date, which was ballsy as fuck, was Charleston Beer Week, which
September?
September.
Oh,
yeah,
this September.
yeah, this September.
Oh shit, man!
So with everything said and done right now, we're hoping for hopefully end of October. So like we're not fucking around. Like we are ready to go.
Let me know, man. I got muscles.
Oh fuck yeah, man!
I got the
love it.
guns out. It's hot. I'm ready. Let's do this.
I'm gonna have to wear a tank top.
I'm
I was
like
supposed to wear a tank top last episode.
I'm
but
like
we
a
couldn't
CC's
find
pizza. I'm hot and ready, bro. Ready to do
No,
work.
that's Little Caesars.
one. Oh, that is hot.
For
that
for
is Little
CC's, it's all you
Caesars.
can eat for $3.99, and you don't want to advertise that.
$3.99. Yeah, you don't get all you can eat on me for $3.99. That's a little bit more. Well, $5.99. Let's make it more
It's amazing.
Taking
more
such a long
regular
turn.
for people's budget. Is CC's really $3.99?
I don't know.
It's not.
That's a crazy. What are you mumbling over there?
I can't get my mic in the right position.
What do you
That's
mean you
all.
can't get it right? It doesn't even move.
That's what I
You
was
put it
saying.
in
It was
one
moving
position.
too much. It was like all loosey goosey. I had to tighten things down. over here.
Crazy.
Yeah. I kept
What else we
losing
got? What else we have to hit on? I'm not gonna lie, I gotta pee again.
Yeah, I was gonna say. I mean, shit. We might as well close it up.
Yeah,
I mean,
I
if
mean,
anything.
We're at 2:30 right now.
Damn.
Really?
You killing it.
Damn.
Oh, shit.
Killing it, Chris.
Love it.
I love it too.
Yeah,
This has
no
been a
shit.
good
High fives
episode.
all around.
Shit, yeah.
Guys, thank y'all so much.
Thank you.
This has
dude.
been awesome, man. I can't wait to come back.
Oh, we can't wait to
Appreciate it.
have you
We're
back.
gonna get that guitar tuned up and get an amp and.
Oh yeah, I'll
pick
definitely throw down some stuff.
and,
Dude, we buy homegrown. This shit's gonna get official as fuck, man. Like,
That'd be awesome.
I mean, you know what? I've been thinking about this, and I've never told you this. I don't give a fuck if we buy homegrown or not. We're getting our own spot regardless. We're doing the same fucking idea no matter where we are. We're gonna figure it out. Because
Okay.
it's such a good idea.
I've seen a lot of
And something that
spots.
we're both very passionate about. Something that I think we both have experience in. We both can handle. We can nail. We have plenty of musicians to play. We know exactly how to sell beer, run beer, order beer, market beer. We obviously have a running podcast that's successful, so fuck it. We'll do it no matter what we do. Eventually, you're going to see us with our own studio. It's going to fucking happen.
Dude, the studio right now is great.
I mean, it is a studio.
It's
sure.
also nice. Yeah, but you gotta look at it in other people's eyes.
Oh, yeah. Oh, absolutely.
It's a little...
I'm pretty sure Brian's going to get tired of just having drunk assholes in his house all the time.
You know, it also...
I mean, it's been 3 years running so far. So.
Yeah, I mean, if the drunk assholes are paying rent, it helps. So,
Oh, yeah, there's that.
But there's also, like, for me, because I work a lot up here, because this is my computer, I would really like to actually have a destination point.
Yeah, places that you can go, call your business, whatever.
Right, it's easier
Come
to...
back here, you hang your hat up, you're at home.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Entirely everything you said, yes. You know, it makes everything more official. It's more fun for us. I think we have a better space. We can control our sound better.
Yeah.
We don't have to worry about people coming home randomly or people in the house. You know, everything has an improvement when we get our own spot.
Yeah.
We just got to do it, and we will. We fucking will.
Yeah.
So, we're going to eventually pull a Chris Filan. We're going to...
After this event,
We're going to take the leap. We're going to do something like you.
I'll tell you, man, you know, this is a great town to do it in. Yeah,
I've House of Brews sticker. I thought I had one.
Yeah, that's right there.
Oh, I do have one. Yeah, I got it.
It's
from
hidden.
Ron. I told him I run a podcast. I want a sticker, and he gave me that sticker.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is a great town to do it in. This is a great area to do it in, especially with you guys up here in Somerville. I love the growth that I've seen in the industry. You know, I have friends that a couple of years ago were just kind of like, okay, I like craft beer. And now, like, one of my buddies is interning under Shane at Common House, you know?
Wow.
Kids, Cole.
Eden's?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Cole's, you know, he's been interning under Shane and Brian up at Common House, learning how to make beer because one day he wants to open up his own spot. And
that's awesome.
Yeah, you know, there are so many people that are, you know, even volunteering just to work in a tap house, you know, and getting that knowledge and going in. And 90% of the brewers that I know in this town, they're very, very approachable. You know, they'd love to help you. And sometimes, I mean, that for anybody out there that wants to get interested in it, it doesn't help to ask. Because chances are there's going to be one day where they're, you know, hey, you got a day off from work on a Tuesday, or hey, you got a holiday on a Monday or a Friday. You want to go wash some kegs? You know, you want to go do this, you want to go do that, and help your brewer friends out? They'd be more than happy to help you. Now, granted, you probably only gonna get paid in maybe a 6-pack of beer and drink and draft while you're there, but I mean, fuck,
worth it.
Totally worth it.
You're just making connections.
You're making connections, and you're friends. You're pretty much just continuing on the family that we've all been working towards. And Amen. I mean, yeah, I mean, there's I've yet to meet anyone in this town that it works in the beer landscape that I don't consider a friend. Mm-hmm. You know, there's no one in this beer landscape that at the end of the day, yeah, we might have our problems. We might call each other a dickhead or whatever. But at the end of the day, would I sit down and have a beer with you? Fuck yeah, I will.
True.
Yeah.
It's a very solid point.
Absolutely. Yeah.
On that note?
I think that's a perfect note to end it. That just
works.
Fantastic, you know?
Cheers,
We will
boys.
have a beer with you no matter what. All right, Chris,
right.
we're going to wrap it up. Thank you so much for
joining us. Thank you guys so
us.
much. This has been awesome.
Appreciate
I really
Thanks
appreciate
for the beer,
it.
for the
Hell
most
yeah,
part.
man.
Yeah, dude.
I'm glad you guys enjoyed all 3 of those beers.
They were fantastic.
Yeah.
You've been such a great guest.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Sure.
The time flew by so
Next
fast.
time we're going to get some
Way too much.
guitar.
Yeah.
Hell yeah,
absolutely
man.
We will.
We're going to crank it up.
We sure fuck will. All right. We'll talk to you soon.
Thank you.
Talk to you soon.